Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about canceling.
Cocainum.
Up yours. Woke moralist.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralist.
up.
Not only can you take a load, you can take the ultimate load, and even better than that, that you find your true calling and destiny in your willingness to take the ultimate load.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals. Up yours.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stopped
Woke
Ben
moralist.
Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stopped Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Have it your way, buddy. You sons of bitches. Beta! I did everything right and they indicted me.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like?
We'll see who cancels who.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hello, humans.
You might notice that there's a bit of a change of cast, and big announcement. we've been bought up by the Power Report, and they've chose to keep on some of us, just Lance and myself. David Dole, Rebecca, and Matt unfortunately have been let go.
You picked the two best. So
in my opinion. So yeah, they bought us out, and now they're our bosses. So nice to work for you, Dan and Bam and Christina.
Bam would describe me as tough but fair. So we'll be good.
Okay. I can do
not
that.
fair. Not fair at all.
Just
Not
tough.
fair. Oh.
Just tough and upload.
Dictator Dan is a meme on the Power Report side, but no, seriously, it is such a pleasure because of our streaming schedules being a little bit overlapping. We don't get to do this all the time, but it's always a pleasure. There's always no actual harm, no foul. It's always a pleasure to get to stream with y'all, and maybe more of this in the future. Little tease, not saying anything, but perhaps.
Yeah. Sneak preview
maybe
coming
in a
up.
couple weeks, who knows what could happen.
Yeah, if something big happens, maybe we'll come
October
back together.
surprise.
Right.
So, yeah.
Weren't we supposed to get the October surprise last night with that whole Epstein-Trump model thing? But
I heard there was a leaked tape that was coming out too that never leaked. Like apparently Trump joked to minor or something to that effect.
Which that kind of feels like rat fucking to me. Like a conservative is putting that out there to see if liberals take the bait, and if it's fake, then they can prove to liberals that these other stories aren't actually real. But there's so much, it just feels like scattershot, and it's hard to focus on any one scandal because every single scandal in a vacuum is massive. But when we're talking about Donald Trump, it just feels like it doesn't actually land. Like there was a scandal of the model who accused him of groping her. This was in the 90s, I believe. And this was when he was with Epstein. She thought that they were playing a twisted game. There's, of course, and I'm just TLDRing this, even though it's serious, but I mean, there's a lot. And so there's also John Kelly, Trump's own chief of staff, who said that he praised Hitler and said Hitler did some good things and called him a fascist.
And wants him a team like Hitler's.
Right. He wants.
I mean, he already has his Joseph Goebbels and Stephen Miller, so I don't know what else he needs.
Yeah, it's so much, and I feel like we're at a point where is any of this actually going to move the needle, and that's what makes me sad, because it just feels like the bar is so low. But even something like this, are Trump supporters going to care? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it.
Also, for those who are like, "Oh my God, Kitty, this is my cat Frankie," and starting with a little bit of sad news. Tomorrow we are putting him down. He is 15 years old, and we don't want him to, go through any more suffering or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was a star. Everyone loved Frankie. Everyone knows him on my Twitch stream. Very much likes to be on camera, like right now. He's a good boy. So, because everyone's like, Kitty. So, this is my baby boy.
I'm sorry, Rebecca or Christina. Sorry. We usually only have one woman, so I always just say Rebecca by default.
I'm Rebecca for tonight.
You can be the
in your performance reviews, Mike. Now that I control the company, we're gonna note that.
Okay, sorry.
Listen, it's better me and not Bam, who's HR. So it's better it's me.
To be fair, so we do these like Patreon chats every month, and I've had my friend Leon, who's been doing it for a really long time, and on one day, for whatever reason, my brain was broken, and I called him Elon like twice instead of Leon, and I felt so bad. So, you know,
that one's rough.
I've made worse fuck ups, but
I'm pretty terrible with names, honestly, like pretty legendarily so. So absolutely no harm done here.
Okay.
Well. I mean, Dan got to know my name by the time he came down for my birthday last year, so that was good.
I figured that out. Yes, because it's Christina. There's like Christina with a K, Christina with a CH. There's a lot of different ways to go around it. But I think we were kind of talking earlier about like, or like even just what you were saying, Mike, that a lot of people have priced in their opinions about Donald Trump, like as far as the electorate goes, and even the non-electorate, people who have decided for whatever reason they're not going to vote or they're going to vote third party. God bless. But they've kind of priced in Donald Trump. And so you've got to wonder, like, because people have made up their minds, when you get new information that's like, hey, yo, even if you've made up your mind right now, like, here's something you should add to the equation. Here's something you should add to the calculus, like that we have a version of Donald Trump basically pulling the Kanye West, I love Hitler thing on so, like, I think that should be a calculus to no matter what you think about Donald Trump. If you like him, if you don't like him, if you don't like him, like I'm sure most of the people watching the show and on the stream are, I'm not sure about there's opinions about Donald Trump, but you know, to each his own. But I think that most people would go, oh, let me add this to the Donald Trump is a fascist and doesn't mind being with like surrounded by fascists and aligning himself with fascist folder that I have, so that when his like, you know, pundits sort of start to gaslight and say that, oh, he's not a Nazi, all these Democrats who are saying he's Hitler, they're being hyperbolic. All these Democrats like JD Vance who are saying that Donald Trump is Hitler, they're being hyperbolic, right? It's good for us to, like, you know, yeah, we've already made our decisions about Donald Trump. Yes, this information does not need to be the thing that the light bulb that goes off in your head that Donald Trump is a fascist. We have plenty enough information. But it goes back to this thing happening in 2016 where people were like, beware of the normalization effect of Donald Trump, because we're already here. We've normalized the shit out of Donald Trump to the point where the Mein Kampf things, the, you know, Hitler speeches by his bedside table stuff is coming again into the mainstream focus. And like you're saying, it doesn't seem to be affecting the electorate. And I think that says something about the normalization effect that happened in 2016 that was warned about, but, you know, we're stuck with.
If he dropped a hard R, would it matter?
No.
I'd vote for him.
Well, I mean, did we learn?
It would.
No, did we learn nothing from the Access Hollywood tape? I mean, we had women with shirts saying, I want Trump to grab my pussy, for fuck's sake. Like, it didn't really matter. It didn't matter. Like, seriously, I saw those shirts and I was like, you people, women are disgusting. First of all, why would you want him to touch you?
Seriously.
Yeah,
like, that's what they got out of the Access Hollywood tape.
Yeah, you're totally right. Amongst his base, there's no one who's going to be swayed by, hey, by the way, he's all over the Epstein files. And like, well, yeah, but like, so are a lot of people. But it's like, no, he's really on the Epstein files. He's like, he's in the call logs in between people who are being booked for actual like appointments with the child sex trafficking. He's in those kind of like in between phone calls. That's bad. He's campaigning on Epstein's plane right now. That's fucked, right? That's kind of weird, you know, all that kind of shit. But like for MAGA folk, it's just like, whatever. You know, yeah, we don't care. Like, they don't care about protecting kids. They don't care about pedophiles. They don't care about any of this shit.
Yeah,
unless they can tie it to a Democrat.
That's true.
Clinton.
That's true.
Like
no,
Clinton.
I saw the tweet after Trump was convicted. Somebody had said, it's so strange that Trump was convicted before any one of Epstein's associates. And I'm like, but we got him, though. We got the first one. I mean, it's just the level of cognitive dissonance is overwhelming. And I am genuinely losing faith in this country because, first and foremost, we have a fascist running for president. And even though we kind of thought, man, he's pretty Hitlerian in his fascism, he's that brand of fascism, now it's more explicit to where it's like, no. I really think Hitler did some good things. That's where we're at. And then you have the base. 47% of Americans think that it would be okay to round up immigrants and place them in militarized camps. There was a poll from PRRI, and 47% of Americans, 79% of Republicans, and I think 22% of Democrats think it's a-okay. So that's where we're at. We have the population hot and bothered at the prospect of an actual Gestapo-like police force going door to door to root out immigrants. We have somebody who's straight up just Hitler too, and it's just a lot of people are just kind of asleep at the wheel. It feels like we're sleepwalking into fascism.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like again, like everyone's like, I'm so concerned about the border. I'm like, you live in Kansas, North Dakota. What you're nowhere near being a border state. What are you talking about?
Right.
You people need a bigger population anyway, so why not?
Well, I think it also shows that, I mean, whether it's been front and center or not, that America actually has always been like this. Like it just hasn't been somebody running for president. It's been, Rush Limbaugh and these different people who were like immensely popular throughout the country. And, I grew up in San Diego and I used to see Confederate flags growing up. It was normal. Like there's always been these type of people, and Donald Trump was the one to like exploit that like deep-seated xenophobia and racism and misogyny that's like it's just never gone away, and really what this country was founded on.
Yeah, that's like to that point, Bam. Like the Republicans, this is well documented throughout history. Everything from the Southern strategy that was tried to be employed to I was reading a book by Matt Grossman, someone else that I based one of my like YouTube video essays off of many years ago, called Asymmetric Politics, which is like this trend that happened in the 1970s and 1980s that was like conservatives realized that liberals, the Democrats, the left of center, are beating them in the educational space. They're beating them in institutions. They have the think tanks. They have all of that stuff. So if you can't beat them, join them. Or if you can't beat them, buy them. And so that's around the time, the 1970s and 1980s, where you start getting these American Legislative Exchange Council, the Heritage Foundation, all these other different like right-wing think tanks. Prager University is kind of from this, it formed a lot later, but it's from this sort of thinking of if the right wing starts to create institutions of, trust that mirror institutions that already exist, we can just paint the normal, we being the conservatives, can paint the normal institutions as being left wing, or this is where we get far left radical CBS from, of all things, which is like what the right wing is saying right now. But because they've created this entire apparatus of educations, like universities, like legal councils, to where they can funnel up conservative judges from when they graduate college all the way up to the Supreme Court. This apparatus has been built through billions and billions of dollars of Republican money, and we're seeing the chickens come home to roost. That apparatus now supports all of this racism that exists in the base that might be a little too in the, coffee chat, coffee clutch like circles of, elite academia. Even some of the conservatives might, say it in their hushed tones, but like blush because they're in academic circles. But the base, who will actually give them the electoral college and the popular vote, to whatever extent does exist, power, they love that racism. And the fact that there is now this whole institution that is able to channel that racism through Elon Musk and his billions of dollars in great replacement theory, all that now is coming together to where a race that should not be close for Kamala Harris or any standard Democrat is now incredibly close. And that's the thing that scares me about. Sorry, went on one of my standard Power Report long rants. I'm on a panel show. I'm going to try not to do that. But
I agree, Dan.
Yeah. And to follow that point as well is that if we remember back in, I think it was the 2014 midterms, the Republicans lost, and they did like dissecting like what went wrong, and they're like, maybe we are a bit too racist, too sexist. We had like 2012 Todd Aikens saying legitimate rape comments. A lot of Republicans were saying weird shit in the 2012 election cycle, and they all got canceled, thankfully. Look at Joe Walsh. She's now on our side.
He's a centrist.
Welcome to the resistance.
But then, Trump came down that escalator. They're like, no, we need to be more like this instead and make it worse. And it's only gotten worse since then.
Yeah, he's really dragged down the culture, and he made it socially acceptable to come out as a racist. I think that before Trump, they still had those feelings. The base had those feelings. A lot of Americans had those feelings, but they used dog whistles or didn't know how to express themselves in a way that would avoid scrutiny. And now they could just let it all hang out, let their freak flags fly, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And as a result, it's leading to the destruction of society. Like, it feels like the fabric of our society is being torn apart. And sure, you can say it's not just Donald Trump. Late stage capitalism is going to do that. But at the same time, Donald Trump accelerated all of that. And now we've been dealing with him for 10 years. And with each passing year, it seems like his influence only makes things worse, only encourages Americans to be more hateful, more stupid, more bigoted. And yeah, I don't know how to deal with this. Even if Trump loses, and I made this point in my video where I talked about it, what do we do about the 47% of Americans who think that it's okay or who support rounding up immigrants and putting them in militarized camps? That poll was not worded in a subtle way. It was very blunt, and 47% of the country supports straight up fascism. How do you share a country with those people? They're straight up fascists. They want Hitler-esque policies. I don't know what to do about that. How many people do we know? How many of our neighbors, our family members support that? I mean, I know a lot of my fucking family members probably support that, and they'd support me being rounded up too as a gay dude. They would love to see that, actually.
Yeah,
I want to say
those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
That outcome you're describing, Mike, definitely scares me. But I actually think, for a lot of reasons, we don't need to rehash out this conversation. But I'm very happy to deal with a right wing in a Kamala Harris, the Democrats won sort of world. What's up, Matt? I'm much happier to deal with a Kamala Harris in a I'm much happy to deal with the right wing in a Kamala Harris's one world, because ultimately these right wingers who are kind of like, we treat them as sort of like in the bag for Trump. But the thing that no one will say, and definitely no one in the Kamala Harris campaign will or should say, is that a lot of Trump supporters are just built in, will support a strong man. And that's going to be a lot harder for Kamala Harris, a black woman, to embody. But if a Democrat, like if you had like a Tim Walz who just decided to be like a strong man and decided to like have some bravado, that would be enough for a lot of these voters. I mean, like, I think that the universe for convincing an incredibly gullible. I think the universe.
I'm kind of a damn you. No, I know. Tim Walz is a strong man. The most aggressive I've seen get was calling Elon a dipshit. I was like, "Whoa, this is new." I haven't seen it.
Yeah, don't be called the weird. To be
clear, I'm not saying Tim Walz has the strong man dog in him. I'm just saying if a white man, standard Democrat from the Midwest, were like maybe golden retriever, but like if we're like a white man from the Midwest were to like be like, if Tim Walz were to be like, we're going to have the most lethal military ever, like there'd be a couple of Trump supporters who'd be like, okay, go on. Like it's less of an indictment, it's less of a statement I'm trying to make on any Democrat. It's more of a statement I'm trying to make on these. There's just a certain section of any population, Democratic or authoritarian or whatever, who just wants to be led. They just want to live their lives, and they just want to be convinced that there's like a strong person, usually a man, usually of the dominant race in that society, who's figuring that shit out, right? And like, I think that avenue, until that population dies off, I think that's an avenue that the Democrats can take in a way that also isn't like horrible towards leftist values. Which again, I'm trying to say is like an indictment on. I'm being too logical. All I'm trying to say is these people are dumb. These people are dumb. Yes.
No, but what I think you're getting at is that you're saying that the country needs a daddy to spank them, right?
Yes. They need to spank the boys, spank the girls. That's
I cringe.
We don't kink shame here on Power Report.
Unless they're underage, in which case we will be reporting.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I kind of agree with you. There would be some contingent of Trump supporters that would be in the back for any like strongman character. it's not that many, but there's some of them for sure. But
the
really,
ones that vote, at least.
Like, yeah, but I think they like Trump really because he embodies mostly a racist misogynist for them. Like, that's really what it is. And no, like, Tim Walz ain't gonna do that for them. But if he like goes somewhere and like doesn't shake Putin's hand or something like that, or like whatever, then there's gonna be some MAGA people that are like, oh, I like that guy, he's a tough guy, but it wouldn't be enough.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of things. I think bravado plays a huge role in it. Americans do really value strength, which is why every politician pretends to be super strong.
I think a lot of countries, like, their right wing value strength, and rule number one of Power Report is never compare like one country's politics to the other. But the trend I'm seeing is that when far right authoritarians get power, when the voting base gives them that power, it's because it's almost like the Netanyahu thing. They don't want their country, their people to be embarrassed. It's the embarrassment that really kind of gets to them. And it's that I want someone to be on the world stage and not just like and definitely not embarrass me. Like, it goes back to the Obama, like, oh, he's apologizing to Middle Eastern like leaders back in like 2013 or 2014. That was happening.
How dare he, right? Terrorist sympathizer.
Like, he's bowing down to terrorists. Like, I remember this. It's ingrained in this Fox News shit is ingrained in my head from even before I was working in politics. That's how effective it is, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that's the id. That's like something that's there, and it's totally a theory. I'm just throwing it out there. Welcome to be wrong, but I think that if you just get a strongman, the policy can matter a little bit less for that 10, 20% of, like, maybe 15% of people who are just want America to like look good on the world stage, and the racism and the sexism stuff they can maybe look past. Because listen, at the end of the year, Pornhub puts out their like what's the most Googled category or like search category of pornography in each state, and all these southern states definitely are not racist in that way. I'll tell you that.
Or transphobic.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think you could be racist and fetishize different groups, right? Like,
oh yeah, totally. I'm fucking around. Yeah.
But yeah, the same thing with
around.
LGBT plus stuff. The same people who are the most like vile anti-LGBTQ plus bigots love trans porn, love gay porn. Like, boy, they just consume so much of it. So it's like it is a little bit of this weird combination of hatred and the taboo, but also weird horniness and like, yeah, it's fucked.
And you're 100% right, just to be clear, and I'm gonna shut up now because I've been talking a lot. But like that, I just want to like make clear, I'm irony poison. I was joking. A lot of the violence that happens most towards queer and trans people are from straight people who haven't figured themselves out yet. So like that's absolutely a fact.
Damn.
But
whoa,
noted straight person Dan from the internet. That's a very funny, but yeah, go on.
Wait. Okay. But yeah, it's like what Jon Stewart said. Like, did we all die during COVID and just things like everyone just got dumber? And I think because a lot of these people got COVID multiple times and their brains are fucked up. Like, I feel like these people are just too far gone. There's a huge majority of people who are too far gone because what are they going to do? Who could be the next Trump? I don't think anybody has the riz, the stamina, the rhetoric, the pizzazz that he had. I feel like Trump is the last thing that they're clinging on to. Even though DeSantis, they're all trying, it ain't working.
Yeah. Trump is their last chance at
power.
Yeah,
world domination.
Being that great nation again. That's part of the fascist ethos to what Dan was kind of speaking to. This idea that we were once a great nation that's just temporarily embarrassed, and all we need is this strong leader who's going to put us back on top. And I think that if Donald Trump loses this is kind of their last chance. It's kind of the last howl of a dying dog. Because the dude is how old? He's like 80 something years old. So 4 years from now, his brain is already cooked. 4 years from now, he can't possibly run. I mean, he probably would run and win a primary potentially, but his chances will be diminished significantly after losing 2 elections in a row. So this is their last chance to get what they wanted. This is why there's Project 2025, because if they're actually going to get a Christo-fascist state, now is as good of a time as ever now that you have a Supreme Court that's taken over by the far right. You have these local state officials. I think there's like 70 officials in the swing states who are probably going to deny certifying the results if they don't go their way. Some of them have already done that. And so we're primed and ready for a fascist takeover. The population wants it. And so this is why I feel like, there's this idea about how it's hyperbolic to say that this is the most important election ever. And we say that every single election, but I actually genuinely believe it this time, unironically. I think this is the most important election ever because this is it. If Trump wins, all bets are off, the guardrails are off, and we're kind of just fucked going into the future. And we're probably already fucked anyway, but it's a matter of like how fast will we go down and how bad will it hurt as we go down.
Fucked in part thanks to the fact that the neoliberal policies of the Democrats don't solve anyone's problems, they exacerbate them, and so then it makes it fertile ground for someone to come along and be like, you know what is causing them? Immigrants, Haitians, trans kids. That's who's causing all your problems, right? I got the solutions. Get me in there. I'm going to have a powerful military. We're going to be Christian again, Christian nation, all that kind of shit. That like, it sucks because every single year, like, I'm upset at the Democratic Party so much right now for just fumbling the bag, for fumbling everything, for fucking everything up. Like, it's just like, it's been pathetic to watch. I'm like, who is this for? Who's that thing where they're going after Trump right now for not serving in Vietnam? Objectively, one of the only good things he's ever done in his life.
Yeah, the one thing him and Springsteen have in common.
Yeah,
but what's interesting is that some people are like, how did the Democrat Party go from being like New Deal to neoliberal? And I'm like, Jimmy Carter slowly but surely was adapting a lot of those policies in the end, because a lot of, he felt very uncomfortable with trying to be too progressive in the end, even though he did have like solar panels on the White House, like, whoop-de-doo, it's like I said, people weren't ready because they dealt with, Nixon and Ford for almost a full decade. And then, Jimmy Carter just adapted some, policies that were very not so popular, and it wasn't enough for Republicans to, give him much, or even, people didn't end up reelecting him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jimmy, to your point, I think that Jimmy Carter was the transition president from the end of the FDR era into the Reagan era, and Bill Clinton basically slammed the door on the FDR era permanently. At that point in time, you couldn't go back. The only way that Democrats thought that they could win was to triangulate and adopt some of Reagan's neoliberal policies. And ever since then, since both parties coalesced around neoliberalism, the whole system has kind of just eaten itself. Now there's money in politics. You can't win an election unless you raise a ton of money. Both parties are bought off by special interests, albeit different interests and to different degrees. So that just did so much damage, irreparable harm to the country. And the one chance that we kind of had to reverse course and maybe go back to that New Deal status quo was with Bernie Sanders. And we had two chances and we lost it. So now it seems like it's neoliberalism or fascism. And somebody made a comment in my video, I think it was yesterday, that was like, okay, it was socialism or barbarism. And the country did not choose socialism. So I'm like, that's a damning point. But to Lance's point about Kamala, I feel so mad as well, and I'm struggling between wanting to complain more and bite my tongue because I don't want to inadvertently hurt her. But it's like, how do you go from having Obama 2008 levels of excitement to 2016 Clinton levels of disillusionment within 2 months? How does that happen? And
Biden advisors.
I think it's Biden's
Hillary.
advisors and
Hillary's in there too.
and Hillary, yeah.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind me accidentally, bogarting the show, I want to play a clip that Power Report producer Sachi had gotten together for us. He does a lot of work producing the show every week, so I wanted to shout him out and also kind of use this point to highlight that CNN made this like big deal about hosting a town hall last night at the time of recording. Usually I do like an intro around now to say this is the 24th of October edition of your Power Report. But yesterday on Wednesday was supposed to be Kamala Harris doing a presidential debate with Donald Trump on CNN. Donald Trump declined, and so instead CNN, the media whores that they are, decided to have Kamala Harris there for a town hall where they had
town hall. for the undecided voters, the mythical undecided voters.
Yeah, I was gonna call that out. PowerPoint real heads know. Lest it be upon me to give Hassan Piker any more credit than possible, but he has the best take on undecided voters, which is like the most unhinged, crazy people on earth, especially right now. But you know, when we're having this conversation about like how could Kamala Harris be at this position where they're neck and neck, I think especially when they're talking about, you know, Michigan and that being on the line, when we are having this moment where you know, we're witnessing the genocide going on in Gaza and now spreading out to other parts of the Middle East. I think some of these types of answers, like what we're going to play here, might give some examples to that. I can't control it here, but I have it ready to play.
Mike, can you...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can bring it in.
Presentation. Yes.
And also, Binder, hi.
Yeah, welcome, Binder.
Yeah.
Your mic is muted, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Hey, how you guys doing? I didn't want to interrupt. I just, I showed up late. So that's on me.
It's no problem.
There's nothing more leftist mafia or power report from what I can understand than being late, so you're in good company. But no, great to see you, friend. Let's go through this clip.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about what has happened, much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed. And I know people and have talked with people. So I appreciate that. But I also do know that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries. They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist. They also care about the fact that we need practical, common sense solutions from a leader who is willing to.
I'm sorry, but I gotta invoke the old Sam Cedar pause it for a sec here. Yeah.
Pause it.
Pause it.
I know. Pause it for a sec. I know genocide is bad. But yo, eggs be high though.
Would this be a good time for me to? Hey, Dan, would this be a good time for me to do my Elizabeth Warren impression right now?
Oh no.
I've never heard your Elizabeth Warren, Christina.
Oh, Mike, you don't even know the half of it. You don't even know the half of it. it's so funny because I'm Elizabeth Warren. And for some reason, I sound like I'm from the Midwest, which technically I am. I was not born in Massachusetts. I'm working on my Kamala one because her Kamala is more of nasally. She's got a deviated septum, which is why she sounds very stuffy. So when she talks, it's very interesting. So I'm working on that as well. Everyone's you sound like her when you're more when your nose is stuffed up. And I'm yeah, I'm working on that impression too. I can't be myself.
I totally get the Elizabeth Warren impression because it's the economic stuff is the kind of pivot that would make sense. And I think Elizabeth Warren, some of Kamala Harris's policies, be they kind of convoluted and
she's campaigning with the wrong Liz, by the way.
The means tested the shit. Yeah, Liz Cheney versus Liz Warren, right? But means test the shit out of policies here. But to say that I see that you are angered by your family dying, but gas has never been higher. This is what I'm trying to say. This is why in areas where Muslims can really make the difference, in states where Democratic votes have been razor thin margins, it would be really nice.
There's 3 swing states where the polling has shown that she could definitely not only close the gap, but almost secure them if she simply did anything in order to give people in the Arab and Muslim communities something to work with here. And I'm not going to stop sounding this alarm because honestly right now this is a calculation that they're making on a regular basis, but I don't know why they think this is going to go away. It's not. It's ramping up. It's getting worse. And every single morning, I can tell, like, I'm sure you're all in the same boat. If you go on the internet and you spend any amount of time there, you're going to see some of the most fucked up shit that is genuinely fucking with my brain, where I have to I have to unplug, I have to go walk, I have to do something else, then look at the internet for a little while because it's that horrifying. That there's I'm one of, again, millions of people, and there's millions of Americans who are seeing this shit every single day. I don't know in what world you think you can just coast off this same canned answer every time you're asked. You will be asked this.
So Lance, you were asking, like, I don't know what calculation they're making or some like version of that question. I absolutely do. The Democrats are making the calculation right now. The undecided voter, I'll say it, the idiot that the undecided voter is right now on year of our Lord, 24th of October, 2024, and between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris being them the more viable options. If you're voting on morals, Green Party or PSL or whatever, I hear you. I'm not vote shaming you at all. Like, that's fine. You are a decided voter. I'm not talking to you. But if you've not made a decision, the Kamala Harris campaign, maybe rightfully, we'll see how the cookie crumbles. But maybe they're rightfully making the decision that not highlighting what's going on in Gaza and the principled voters they will lose off of that are worth losing to gain whatever undecided voters they think are in these swing states. So
CBS YouGov poll shows 61% of Americans support no longer sending military arms and aid to Israel at this moment in time, and the majority of Democratic voters support no longer sending military aid to Israel at this time. So it is a popular amongst the American electorate. It's something that if you're going to ignore this, then you better triple down on what is an effective strategy, going towards reproductive health or something to that effect, not continuing to fumble every time someone asks you a question they're going to ask you, right? Like, it's like this we've heard her say, I've heard her speech in response to this so many times I can almost recite it verbatim, right? Like, we have to contextualize this. October 7th was the worst attack and all this kind of stuff like that. It's over and over and over, but it's not working in the swing states. Like, a lot of them are in the margin of error still because of this shit.
Yeah, and what's interesting too, Lance, is that the media said, "Oh, all the kids, the college kids, they'll forget about this once the school year starts. Oh, this is just a trend. This is just a fad of caring about what's going on over there." Really?
Yeah, I feel like this whole strategy of trying to court Republicans at the expense of your base, it blew up in Hillary Clinton's face, and Democrats haven't stopped trying to do the same fucking thing. I mean, back
100%.
in, 2018, I think it was Claire McCaskill, she went straight up full racist and was talking about, remember the migrant caravan that Fox News and Donald Trump were fear-mongering about?
Oh, yeah.
She was on Fox News saying, listen, I disagree with Democrats on quite a bit, and I call it the crazy Democrats, and with those migrants, stop them at the border. Hey, guess what happened? We now have a Josh Hawley because she didn't win over enough right-wingers. And I just want to share this tweet from Katrina Vanden Heuvel, who I think puts it into perspective pretty bluntly. Polls show Harris is actually flipping fewer Trump 2020 voters than Trump is flipping Biden 2020 voters. That has been the case not only in polls from Suffolk University and Fox News, but even in the New York Times Siena College poll. It showed just 3% of Trump's 2020 backers voting for Harris, while 4% of Biden voters broke for Trump, all of which reinforces the idea that the Republican electorate and former Trump backers aren't exactly following Cheney's lead in any large numbers. So whatever she's being told by her advisors it's not working.
And
it's
did
a
you
terrible
see what Trump is
strategy.
doing? Have you seen Trump's truths, where he's basically saying that, like, to the Arab and Muslim community in Michigan and elsewhere, Dick Cheney was a war criminal who's responsible for countless deaths of your people. Directly appealing to that voter demographic. Like, they are strategizing from the other side to try and scoop up those votes that she's throwing away.
Well, and to make matters even worse, as Trump was reaching out to Arab Americans, I think he was doing a conference or something, there was an Arab American Democrat that got kicked out of a Kamala Harris rally for no particular reason. He left, and then the police was outside waiting for him. No reason for it. Later on, the campaign had to apologize and say, we don't know why he's welcome at future rallies. But I mean, this guy was going there. He had no intent to protest whatsoever. He wasn't wearing a keffiyeh or anything like that. He was just wearing a regular suit. And he got kicked out. it seemed
The
like
secret
racial
brown.
profiling, and that was what he said. And you know, his point was, I mean, am I welcome? Should I vote for this party? If they don't want me, they're clearly telling me they don't want me. How do you make these many fuck ups again and again? And this comes after they didn't allow a Palestinian American a 5-minute speech at the DNC during the day. There's so many unforced errors and so many mistakes that the campaign has made. And it just feels like in an election like this, when Donald Trump is the alternative and he's saying, I want to be Hitler too, it shouldn't be this close. And the fact that it is not just a sign that the American electorate is fucked in the head, but a sign that Kamala is fucking up strategically speaking, because every election is going to be about mobilization for Democrats, not about persuading Republicans. I think Sam Cedar put it best. This is a mobilization election, not a persuasion election. You're not going to win by flipping Republicans. You're going to win by getting out those people who are on the couch, and they don't want to come out in certain states because of the genocide. All you have to do is say, I will follow the law bluntly, and say, I will enforce U.S. law and international law as it relates to foreign policy and providing weapons to our allies. That's all you have to say, and we'll get it. But she's not even saying that, and it's so frustrating because this doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to be this close, and I just feel like it's slipping away. Not that she's going to lose, because I think it's genuinely a toss-up, and Trump's also running a baffling campaign. But I feel like this is easy. It's easy mode. She's playing on the easiest difficulty, and she's just doing all the side quests, but not doing the fucking main missions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. It's never easy for a Black woman.
That's
and
true.
There's a lot of, like, it's gonna be close because Trump is running against a woman and a Black woman. So no matter what, it's gonna be close. And also, like, it's always close. Like, there hasn't been a landslide in a long time. I think Reagan was the last person or something like that. But like, there's obviously we're talking about like two bullshit parties that like neither of us, like nobody here has any real love for. So they're gonna do things that we completely disagree with. But I don't really think that it's close or it's like easy mode for Kamala like at all, because you know, like Pakistan's had a woman prime minister before. Like, you know,
Mexico was elected
right. Just like I think it'd be damn near impossible for America to vote for a Jewish president like that. Like, we got some deep seated shit here.
Mexico just also got a Jewish president.
So like,
all of Trump's shithole countries are more progressive than us when it comes to
no, like literally. So I don't think that, like, I do. Obviously, it'd be great for Kamala to say something good about what's happening in Gaza. I don't necessarily think that she would be able to implement that if she was president, but whatever. It'd be nice, but it's still going to be close no matter what. Like, if those voters that she's ignoring come out, it's still going to be close, because I don't necessarily think that those people that are going from Biden to Trump is because like Kamala's what she said. I think a lot of those people are like, I'm not voting for a woman. Like, there are a lot of men that hate women
and women who hate women.
Right. And there are a lot of people that don't want to see this Black woman president. It's simple. It's hard to think that there's people like that, you know, walking around us. You know, it's hard to think that this person, even if they got a Trump flag.
Bam, have you been on the freeways recently? It's very easy to believe that.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I think like we don't want to think about politics as like that simple, but sometimes it just boils down to things like that. Like,
that's fair.
There's a lot of people that are just like, I'm not voting for that. Like,
yeah, and the Daily Show, they've interviewed women. They're like, you know, women are, you know, hormonal or this or that. I'm like, you mean a woman who's probably, you know, already had her like, you know, menopause? You think she's overly emotional or hormonal? I'm like, who has led this country for over 200 years? Men. Who started all these wars? Men. I'm just saying, like, I mean, women could possibly, you know, enact war, you know, whatever. That's something presidents, you know, leaders do from time to time. But like, I don't see what the argument is. I'm like, men lose their shit more than women. No offense to all the men on this lovely panel.
How dare
you? But I'm just saying, like, men,
really,
the
God, I'm insecure.
testosterone,
It's happening.
the testosterone gets you guys going, and that's why we got like things like toxic masculinity to discuss. But like, yeah, I'm like, guys, ladies.
To Bam's point, I empathize with Kamala because of that. I think that she does feel that she needs to go out of her way to make sure that she assuages concerns that she's this Kamala, as Trump is saying it, because she is a black woman and Americans just perceive her to be more left wing because of that. So I do agree, and I think that there's a more rational reason for her to pander to Republicans than other Democrats do. One counterpoint that I would say is that the way you do it does matter, and I think that if she continued to try to speak to Republicans and did all this, well, I would put a Republican in my administration, I would hate it, but I'd at least understand it. The one thing that I don't understand is the Liz Cheneys, where it's like, if you're going to get a Republican, can you get, like, I don't know, fucking Mitt Romney even? I can't believe I'm saying that. Just anyone but Liz
John
Cheney?
Stewart,
You know what I
John
mean?
Stewart and Sam Cedar, the only two liberals. I mean, even though John Stewart has labeled himself as an independent socialist, he's literally Tim Walz. Like, do we really need the Cheneys? Like, it's like he's the only one, and Sam as well.
To have a good response to that.
Yeah, they're the only ones who understand we cannot be rehabilitating Dick Cheney, who should be 6 feet under, or even worse, in my opinion. Like,
or Bush.
Why?
He hasn't come out, but him too. There's a couple of Republicans where it's like, maybe not them. And we had the same problem with Hillary Clinton in 2016 with Henry Kissinger, where she's like, I'm proud to have the advice of Henry Kissinger. And it's like, bro, anyone but Hitler
I had
too.
Men in Black. I had Men in Black that from my brain. Thank you, Mike, for bringing that back.
I'm not like, I feel like Dan. I'm defending Kamala. I'm not joking. I'm really not defending Liz Cheney, but I think the reason she has Liz Cheney up there is because of what Liz Cheney did in the January 6th, with the January 6th commission or whatever that was. Which, like, I mean, it's been a while now, but she was up there doing her thing and taking a risk because I think her and the other guy, I forgot his name, like, they definitely lost their seats after that. And I guess, like, Liz Cheney and what the hell's the other guy's name?
Kinzinger?
Adam
Kinzinger, yeah.
Yes. Like, they've been, like, the most, like, outspoken anti-Trump Republicans. But yeah, no, I don't love it either. But even when it comes to Gaza, like, I think we talked about this on PowerPoint at some point, like, AIPAC is scary, dude. Like they are taking people
Jamal
out
Bowman,
like it's
Bush.
nothing. Like,
voted off the island.
I wonder, like, I don't, like, politics is a dirty game. Like, it's a dirty game. I can never run for office ever. There's too much stuff on this phone here. I can't do it. So, like, you never
Galaxy
know.
S4.
You're stupid. You never. There's on that one too. You never know, like, what AIPAC has waiting for you if you say anything like to, like, I don't know if, like, the air vote can outweigh what AIPAC can do. Like, I don't know. It seems like she's towing the line a bit right now. And I don't expect anything like super progressive when she becomes president. I don't expect that. But I feel like there is some, like, her advisors can be like, look, dude, like, we can't afford you to be jumping out the window on that. And we'll see if they were right or wrong come November. But I don't necessarily
I'm not asking her to say, like, abolish Israel, though, or something like that. I'm not, in any way, shape, or form. I think that would be ridiculous.
Repeat that one more time. What'd you say?
I'm not saying that she should say abolish Israel. I definitely think that would be political suicide. Yeah.
Shit lib.
Okay, Ethan Klein. Okay.
No, but I in the real world that we live in, you said something like that. Obviously, yes, that would be the end of the Harris-Walz campaign. Like, that day, it would happen on the spot. I'm saying that, like, what you can do, which is not outside of the kind of, like, entire persona she's built up in these past couple months, is say that we're going to follow the law, or that we're going to put terms and conditions on this, anything that gives people who are so desperate right now something to believe in, or to hope for, or to think that, like, they'd prefer anything else because you're just watching the massacre happen every single day, right? Anything on that. But like,
Yeah.
if you want to avoid it altogether, then lean twice as hard into reproductive freedom. That's how you're going to drive out voters.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. A black woman running in America, that is an insurmountable task, especially to get past how fucking racist like all these countries are. But like, yeah, there's other strategies. I think.
And when people like learn about AIPAC, I'm like, AIPAC was started like after like Eisenhower was like president, because I guess he wasn't really big on like giving funds to Israel or something like that, I believe. But the thing that always got me about AIPAC is that they fund all the right-wing neo-Nazi type Republican candidates, because these people still have some love for Israel because of some weird end times prophecy that's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. So like but then some people also argue that, well, AIPAC is kind of like the Democrats' NRA, which you can argue that maybe more Democrats do get funding from AIPAC. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but we've noticed that the NRA has taken a big step back when it comes to lobbying because of all the issues that they've been having. So it's like AIPAC is not like the number one lobby group, and I think it should be labeled as a foreign agent, because it's true, because we see what people, how, people can, be for Palestine or even like a two-state solution. And then once AIPAC comes knocking on your door, you're like, oh, my seat's vulnerable. Yes. No ceasefire. Yes, they should expand, land in Gaza for housing for Israelis and blah, 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 blah. Jared Kushner, get whatever you want.
I will say, just as like hey, Jamie, could you look that up, please? I just went to Open Secrets really fast.
Yeah.
The real ones know. And just to confirm what Christina was saying, like most of the top like 10 big receivers of AIPAC money, we're talking Standing Strong PAC, which is affiliated with the Democrats, George Latimer, Hakeem Jeffries, George Gottheimer. These are all Democrats. You have to get to Mike Johnson, who obviously is a pretty prominent Republican, to get there. And I think it's because, if you're a political action committee, you spend your money where you think it'll be most effective. And you're not going to spend your money with the Republicans who are already like anti-Semitic Zionists. And so like they are going to be on your side for weird reasons, but like they're going to be on your side in the short and medium term, right? So they're spending their money on the Democrats.
They care about.
Exactly. They're spending their money on the Democrats just to be like, again, all of the ramifications this following statement has notwithstanding, they're cracking the whip. They're being like, hey, you see what we did over there to Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman. So Hakeem Jeffries, don't be popping off all that good. And Josh Gottheimer, stay in your lane. And George Latimer, like you know what's going on. Like that's exactly how it's gonna be.
So like someone asked if like AOC will win again, she'll win again. She's very popular in her district. I'm surprised AIPAC hasn't really done much attacking on her.
They tried one time, like when she was a little bit green, like maybe it was like her first or second sort of re-election. There was someone who was, I think, running as like a Democratic or moderate or whatever, who was trying to run in that lane. But no, thankfully AOC has gotten not just, I don't want to like discredit her roots in her district, but AOC, the reason why Nancy Pelosi will give her the time of day even sometimes is because she is one of the top fundraisers for the Democratic Party, and much the same way Marjorie Taylor Greene has become one of the top fundraisers for the Republican Party. You get credit in these parties based on how much money you're able to raise for not only just yourself, because they'll notice that, but that trickles up to the party. And so that's definitely going to be noticed. I think that AOC's secure because of that. That's why I think, and not to preview kind of like my 2025 thesis of politics that I'll be doing later on in 2025, but like I'm fully on team let's pressure AOC, because I'm proud of the power that she has entrenched within the Democratic Party. I now feel, especially through this whole October 7th scenario, that there are fewer and fewer excuses that people on the left should be giving her, especially those with platforms, now that she has that power. Like, I think it's now time to spend some of those credits. And the way she does or doesn't, I'm going to be analyzing closely in ways that maybe before I was giving her a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Also, someone asked if I'm a stand-up comedian. I wish. I think I'm pretty funny.
We all try.
Yeah. But that is true, Dan, because there are so many people who are like, oh my god, AOC is not the same woman. But I feel like she's just changed her messaging to be more like big tent messaging, really. But I mean, a lot of her policies are still kind of the same. Like when people say she supports the genocide, I'm like, she does not support the genocide. Like, yeah, she gave more funding to the Iron Dome or whatever the hell, but like, or like when people accuse people of being Zionists because they signed the release the hostages petition one time. I'm like, that doesn't mean that someone's a Zionist. Like you're tossing that term around like the right does globalist at this point. Like there's a very standard definition for what is a Zionist. And also Hassan, another clip that's been clipped a lot, he said, I think yesterday, is he defined what anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism is, and they're not the same thing. But a lot of people think Zionism and Judaism are the exact same thing. But that's not true.
Yeah. On that note, I know before the show you had mentioned, Dan, that you had like an agenda. Was that on your agenda? Did you all? I don't know if you wanted to talk about the Ethan Klein thing. I haven't said anything about it, but I think that people probably know where I stand.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an open thing.
Yeah, I hate the fact that this is actually taking up the entire like news cycle for like left-leaning political streamers.
I agree.
Like the drama forming between that and all the TYT stuff that's been happening too. It's like, just want to talk about but like nothing's really going on for the election. Like we're 2 weeks away, and it's like, they're trying to get undecided voters, but like drama.
I have no idea what happened with Ethan Klein.
So yeah, someone explain the context, and then I think like I'm gonna go into a rant about all of this that's gonna get a little bit radical, and so I encourage y'all to get your licks in before I pop off, please.
Yeah.
But someone explain the context for folks who may not even know, because that's relevant.
All right.
I will be right back.
So, and Mike can help me out here too as well. Ethan started out of nowhere name searching Hassan's fans for some reason, and like seeing what we were all saying about. I mean, why am I saying we? I haven't popped on his Instagram stories yet, but seeing what like Haas Twit has been saying, and he started like becoming unhinged. Like he just kept screenshotting and making these, screenshotting tweets of Hassan fans tweeting about him, just calling him out for, not understanding what's going on in Gaza because he's Jewish or whatever. I mean, they had to end their Leftovers podcast because Ethan was not willing to budge. I mean, Hassan knows what it's like to live under fire and war because he grew up in Turkey. Ethan doesn't understand what it's like, but Ethan still just is not willing to budge or understand Hassan's perspective, even though Hassan has been very generous and charitable towards Ethan. But Ethan is slowly becoming more and more and more unhinged as he finds more stuff that people are critiquing him on about Israel and Palestine, to the point where Destiny, I hate saying his name, is involved. Now it's gotten to the point that Ethan, Destiny, Stop Anti-Semitism, and the Apartheid Defamation League got some of my friends banned on Twitch over ranking fucking hummus.
What?
And Capri Sun Poppy, VO, Denims, and Frogan. And I know some of these streamers, and I'm like, no one was doing anything wrong while they were streaming. I believe VO was doing her starting soon stream, which she's been doing for months. She wasn't doing anything that required a ban. I don't think Capri was streaming. Danos might be streaming. I think the half the people that were banned weren't even streaming at the time, but they said that the Twitch approved panel was what got the ban. I'm like, well, if that's the case, why didn't they get banned on the day of that TwitchCon approved panel?
Can I just say something about real? I promise I wouldn't interrupt, but this is separate, but to buttress your point. These social media platforms have made this big deal over, backlash from the 2016 election cycle, some light backlash from 2012, but definitely 2016, definitely 2020, and 2024, the big players who still exist. Google, who doesn't really have a social media app to speak of, Meta, who controls most social media in the Western speaking world. You know, TikTok gets their licks in here, Elon Musk gets their licks in there, but like all of these social media platforms, I think with Elon Musk being a weird anomaly for not at all relevant to this conversation reasons, but they're playing it safe. They're playing it very careful. But if you actually look very carefully, like, you know, Meta, there's a news story, I forget who posted it recently, but I think it came out this week or last week. One of the people on Meta's sort of like, you know, transparency council, or one of those things they did to like make journalists shut up about how they were not accountable or whatever. It's like a former IDF soldier, hardcore Zionist, and was advocating for posts on Facebook and Instagram that had anything to do with Palestine, a watermelon emoji, the Palestinian flag, the little down arrow, all of that stuff. She was one of the people on the front lines to advocate for that stuff to be, you know, hey, Jamie, look that up. In a Joe Rogan kind of way, shadow banned, right? Like it's like these types of forces, but because the, you know, there's forces that have to do with how much money is in politics, which is a, you know, entry level approach to this, but there's also the way that influences, and I want to be very careful to not make this sound anti-Semitic because it's not about that, but like these influences can happen whether it's like, you know, money or, okay, bam, whether it's like, you know, money or whether it's, you know, ideology based, but these influences can come in and be just like treated as, okay, well, one side says we've got to kill all Palestinians. The other side says that maybe we should try to not kill innocent civilians. Those are two sides, and we've definitely got to respect this one side, you know, more than the other side. And basically what I'm trying to say is that all these companies that try to do these false dichotomy of being equal, especially these platforms who are essentially the content moderators for this public square idea that these tech bros sold to, you know, get more venture capital money, they're making the rules, and the rules are heavily influenced by the same sort of like Zionist forces who are committing these atrocities, you know, continually increasing across the Middle East. So like it's very important like to Twitch, to Meta, it's all relevant.
Yeah, I think in good faith, there's without question, you know, on Twitch and just on social media platforms in general, there are, you know, anti-Semites, there are racists, and there are people who are going to spread vile conspiracy theories about Jewish people and all that horrifying kind of stuff. And so when people come forward and say that they have a genuine concern that, like, is your position that you expect, like, you know, 8 million people who live in Israel to have to, like, you know, move to other parts of the world or stuff like that? That's not at all what I think anyone in that panel or in general is trying to say when they say they don't believe in that there should be countries that enact apartheid. There shouldn't be. It doesn't matter if it is being enacted within Israel, or it doesn't matter if it's being enacted in any other part of the world. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do if you criticize, say, things like colonialism or Zionism or stuff like that. And I think that, like, beyond that, it seems pretty, like, I was trying to compare it to the Asmongold banning, where Asmongold was just straight up using vile, horrific, dehumanizing language, saying that Palestinians are from an inferior culture, saying that they deserve their genocide, you know, all that kind of stuff. That was 2 weeks, right? And then, you know, people on a panel. Yeah, well, I mean, that one is great, you know.
For folks who don't know, by the way, Asmongold's like, I think, what was he, like a World of Warcraft streamer or like one of those sorts of things?
Who lives in filth.
So.
Yeah,
he's like,
apparently no longer. He cleaned up his room.
Oh, yeah, good for him.
He's bam. He's one of those, damn, I bet it smelled brazy in there type streamers. Like, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but and Lance, that's a good point, because I was about to make that point as well, because it's like, wait a minute here. I mean, there are people who've said a lot worse. There are people who say actual slurs on this platform, but you get banned for saying Cracker Barrel. Like
me, it's me saying the slurs. I'm sorry.
Hassan got banned for saying that too, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, that was a weird time.
Hassan and I very much are like, I'll share a lot of a political brain, and I'm not going to say it's the slurs. If you want to cancel anyone, cancel Hassan. He's got the money to be canceled, not me.
Yeah, and a lot of people are thinking that Hassan's going to get banned after the election, because with him covering it, he's bringing in a lot of revenue for Twitch. I'm like, but he's literally the political streamer on Twitch. So I think maybe Hassan has a bit more power and sway. But in my opinion, he should have nipped this whole thing with Ethan in the bud, because Ethan just kept poking at him and poking at him and poking at him. He should have addressed this, not in public, maybe, you know, exchange messages or something like that. But now it just blew a mountain out of a molehill.
Well, for me, watching the Ethan Klein stuff has been confusing and also genuinely heartbreaking, because I've been a longtime fan of H3. Everybody knows that I've been simping for them for years. I've worn Teddy Fresh merch on the streams. And so to see him, I've seen him take pot shots at Hassan here and there, but that didn't necessarily bother me, because the last time they did a stream together, it was hours, and I watched the whole thing, and admiring both of them, I thought that I could kind of see both of their points of view. I got where Ethan was coming from and where Hassan was coming from as well. And I just felt like this was something that just needed some more conversations, perhaps off air, because they both were coming from a really good faith, genuine place with different perspectives. And I think that it was important for them to hash out those conversations. But then Ethan, I believe it was him who chose to unilaterally cancel Leftovers. And it's like, okay, if this is just too much for him, he doesn't want to talk about politics, if there's this expectation that he wants, that his audience is going to want him to talk about Israel, I get it. But then out of nowhere, he attacks Hassan and brings up Hassan platforming this kid who is a Houthi
teenager,
and talks about how, well, you know, he's a terrorist, and Hassan is playing Hezbollah videos, and this is terrorist propaganda, and Twitch is effectively allowing this pro-terrorism on their platform. And it's, to me, a lot of this, and I watched Ethan's stream about Hassan, it's about 2 hours long, but the points that he makes kind of always goes back to, well, Hassan's audience is being mean to me, and he's not doing enough to try to counter that. Even though Hassan has been trying to do that, he has millions of people who watch him. I don't know how you can actually control the audience, but to the extent that you can, he's tried. He's tried to ban chatters who talk shit about Ethan Klein. But Ethan basically started all of this, based on my understanding, because his fifis were hurt, and he's centering himself here. And there's this double standard where it's like, oh, okay, well, Hassan is pro-terrorism, and that should be banned. But at the same time, he's not saying anything about the pro-IDF people. The IDF has killed more innocent civilians than Hamas, than Hezbollah, but yet it's fine if somebody's caping for IDF. That doesn't require a ban. But if Hassan platforms this 19-year-old, then he should be banned. And what's crazy to me is all this pro-clutching is fucking insane. Because again, I've been watching Ethan. I know what he said. Some of the things that he said made me feel uncomfortable. And I stopped watching him after he made his comments about Aaron Bushnell. I thought that was extremely fucked up what he said. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to take a break. So I went from I can't watch him to trying to tune back in. And then this happened. And it's like, now I just fucking hate him. That's where it's at. Like, I went from loving him to being kind of ambivalent to now just hating him.
Yeah.
Because you are focusing, you're centering yourself and your feelings during a genocide. And what really rubs me the wrong way about him is, and this pissed me off during the Aaron Bushnell thing, he said something to the effect of, listen, you know, I've condemned the genocide. I said it's bad. What more do you want from me? As if, you know, as if that's just acceptable, where it's like, hey, I said the genocide bad, so now let me center myself again and talk about why my feelings are hurt. When it's not about you, it's about the genocide. And if that's not your focus, if you're trying to ban people and clutch your pearls when you yourself have said fucked up shit, and now you're all of a sudden the deplatform belief, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, he bought a button that cost $20,000 because he keeps saying fucked up shit, and that is going to allow him to hit that button, and then it erases the last minute or so of live streaming. He bought that because he keeps saying fucked up shit. For example, he joked about wanting the NRA convention to get shot up. He joked about Ben Shapiro saying if there's going to be a Holocaust, he hopes that Ben Shapiro's gassed first or last. And this is just his edgy humor. He says the most fucked up shit. And so, but being edgy is just, that's what people do on the internet, right? I'm edgy sometimes. I say the F slur, whatever. Okay. But if all of a sudden you're going to go from being this edgelord on the internet who cultivated a leftist audience with Hassan to now tone policing Hassan, crying about how you think Hassan is emboldening anti-Semitism when you yourself aren't even thinking about how you're emboldening Islamophobia. I mean, you're accusing Hassan of being pro-terrorist. Hassan is a Turkish man. Are there no dog whistles there that you can examine? So there's no level of introspection. It's all main character syndrome, and I'm just so fucking sick of it. There's a genocide going on. If that's not your utmost concern right now, then I don't know what to tell you. I think that yes, it's important. If he's pointing out instances where the left is inadvertently pushing anti-Semitism as they advocate against genocide, I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We should call that out. But at the same time, I don't think that is as big of a problem as he's making it out to be. Looking at these fucking 4 Arab streamers and their fucking tier list about hummus, is that really that's the main concern right now? You have neo-Nazis on Twitter like Jake Shields posting about Jewish people in an actually anti-Semitic way. Like Nazis are trying.
Fresh and Fit
too. Yes.
Yeah. They're actually anti-Semitic.
Even Ethan himself made a very degrading remark about Hasidic Jews and stereotyping them in a way that's very offensive. And I'm like, and old clips of Ethan are resurfacing because a lot of people remember that before this is what's interesting to me is that Hassan and that debate like between Sam Senior and Steven Crowder kind of softened him up and changed him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the same thing, like October 7th just broke some people's brains. And instead of it, being, introspective and learning and try to grow and maybe be more balanced, no, he's not doing that at all. And you see his stories on Instagram, he's becoming more and more unhinged.
You went after Emma today, Emma Vigeland.
My girl, no.
It doesn't.
What was said about Emma? I didn't. Again, I'm holding my point.
Yeah,
but I don't know the context of what was said about Emma.
So he was
I
basically.
I worked semi-closely with her at TYT as well for context.
Yeah, so he posted on his Instagram story with some weird filter, like a makeup filter, so very serious, that Emma was supporting Hassan as a rape apologist. I don't know what he was referencing. I think that somebody had called into Majority Report and asked Emma about the Ethan Klein, Hassan Piker situation. I think she said something to the effect of, I agree with Hassan's takes, while not really knowing about the drama, because it's hard for me to follow it as somebody who's kind of in this sphere, but there's so much and there's so many branching paths of drama and sub beefs and side stories that it's hard to follow. So what I'm assuming happened was that Emma just probably was like, yeah, I agree with Hassan on this issue because Hassan has been very good on this issue. He's one of the biggest streamers who's using his platform to educate people. And Ethan called her, said she was supporting a rape apologist or something, and then apologized and said, well, maybe she doesn't know that Hassan is a rape apologist. I don't know why he's now saying Hassan is a rape apologist. I think it has something to do with Hassan's reaction to Kamala at the DNC, or one of Kamala's statements. He made a face when she brought up rapes during October 7th. I genuinely don't know, but it just, to me, it feels like it's deeply bad faith, and he just has hurt feelings, and as a result, he's just trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. It is such a hatchet job that he's doing, and it's really frustrating because I admired Ethan. I thought that he was a good faith person. There were times during my tenure as a fan that I had to tune out, like back in the day when he first started the podcast, and he had a debate with Dan, his producer, about billionaires shouldn't exist. It was irritating me because he was doing this centrist arc, bringing on people like Jordan Peterson, helping to popularize him, and then making bizarre-ass statements. There was one where he was talking to Post Malone, and he talked about women desire to be conquered or something like that, and there was Joji in the background that was like, oh, fuck. So I had to, for a while, I'm like, okay, Ethan's got to get it together. But then he really started to change. He started to realize how he was
the pre-Joji phase when he was still like pink guy and all that.
right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he was pink guy back then. But yeah, and if pink guy thinks that that's a little bit too close. Yeah. If pink guy thinks you're memeing too close to the sun, you've gone a little bit too far.
Yeah.
But now he's going back to his old ways where I feel like he's driven by not necessarily reactionary politics, but it feels more petty than anything. It feels like he doesn't think that Hassan is centering his feelings when he should just be a fucking adult and realize it's not about you. And he keeps going after Frogan. I genuinely don't even understand why he doesn't like Frogan. This is a streamer that's probably about as big as us, and we're all nobodies. So how are you, with your millions of followers, gonna go after this person? Like, you are a rich fucking dude going after this fucking streamer whose family is probably being displaced right now, and you're talking about yourself. And one thing that somebody pointed out in the comment section of his video before he started removing or not removing the comments, but turning off comments, was they said that his producer and his wife, AB and Lena, her parents live in Lebanon and they had to be evacuated. And they don't even get a chance to talk about that. See, this is what I mean. Like, you're centering your feelings when I feel like you need to be more cognizant of the actual genocide. And that's the problem people take with you. You don't take it seriously, and you continue to pretend as if you're the main character when it's not about you. I think that if there are genuine instances of anti-Semitism on the left, you can call that out. Of course you can do that. Nobody's saying that you shouldn't do that.
You should.
But I think what you're doing is
Absolutely.
grasping for straws, and you're straw manning, and you're not basing it off of legitimate like fear that Hassan is propagating anti-Semitism. In my opinion, it feels like you're basing it off of pettiness, and you think your friend should do more to rein in the comments who are pissed off at you because of some of the genocide apologia, to put it bluntly, that you've been doing. And I like genocide apologia to me, maybe that's too far. I don't know. But I think that he's made some very tone-deaf comments that people rightfully took issue with. But people are going to criticize you. You have millions of viewers. I post a video. I get criticism. It's just part of the job. So again, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I have a solution. I have a solution to this. Stephen Crowder, you're going to get the best revenge ever. We're going to set you up. We are going to have you and Sam Cedar on and make it look like you're debating Ethan, right? And then we're going to bring Sam on so that Sam could debate Ethan about the situation, because he needs to talk to a Jew who is a bit more progressive, who Sam takes his holidays seriously. He takes, holidays off in majority part, but he's not, Zionist. He has more understanding on the situation than most people do. A lot of people have been telling Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar, but he's been dodging it.
Wouldn't for the inverse Sam Cedar jump scare to work, wouldn't it have to be Crowder who debates Ethan?
Yes.
It would be.
Yes. Sam would have to pop up.
if everyone
so Crowder and Sam Cedar have to cross.
Yeah, have to be friends and not debate.
At Divorced Dads Monthly,
Yeah.
they have to cross paths at the meeting, like Divorced Dads Anonymous. I would be like, "Hey, brother, last time."
Just to address somebody in the chat named Dan, also unrelated, just watch Ethan's video instead of arguing straw man. This is R-worded. Dumbass, do you know how many videos he's put out? There's 8 hours of content. Should we just do that real quick? Would that appease you? So that way we get the full totality of what he's saying?
I generally want to hear the sultry, smooth tones of Matt Bender, and if he cares at all about this streamer drama of anything that's happening. He just came into us talking about the Ethan Klein, Hassan Piker, who's an anti-Semite, who's a rape apologist, all these other different things. And I want to hear your voice. Good to see you, man. But also I want to hear do you have any opinions on this, or the state of how the reaction is here? Because I'm holding my tongue for what I want to say.
Yeah, I'm only being quiet because I got here late. I'm a little bit tired because a lot of soccer practice today. That's why I was late for my son. So
Let's go.
I'm just easing back into things. He had homework to do when he got back, and he had to get to bed, and so I'm going back and forth. But now I'm here. I'm listening. I've been listening the whole time, even when I wasn't on the stream. I have my headphones in.
Some dad.
Yeah, I gotta say,
tutoring your kid while you're listening to a stream. Okay.
Well, I was making sure he did the homework. He doesn't need my help doing it. I just got to make sure he's not fooling around and he's actually sitting there and doing it.
I'm teasing, but good on you.
I mean, I've been paying attention to all this streamer drama, I guess you can say, between Ethan Klein saying things, and there's other streamers not involved with the same thing, but also saying similar type things in general. There was that drama with Asmongold, the World of Warcraft guy. There's another video game guy who I don't really care to talk about, who had things to say about someone I know. I think it's very clear that there are certain people, and I sort of went off on the majority report earlier today, pretty much saying the same thing. They're not here to talk about anything substantial. They're not here to talk about politics or news or current events and how it affects you. They don't care about their listeners. They don't care about their viewers. This is purely a vehicle for them to make money, to generate views, to create drama, because that's what they do. Like people like the people who are on this stream, obviously some of us are younger than others, but we do this because we are interested in it. We're in this sort of news cycle because that's what we do. We have a general interest in it. We actually read and educate ourselves. We care about the people who listen to these streams, whether it's 10 people or, when we're lucky, maybe a few thousand altogether when we combine our streams. And that's what we do. It's not much money to be made here, but this is what we find important because we think it's important. These guys, this is not what they do. This is new to them because they were doing something else previously, whether they were streaming World of Warcraft or StarCraft or whatever video game they were known for, or whether they were doing, drama alert type bullshit. And this is just like the latest ploy because whatever they were currently doing isn't raking in the cash that it used to because it's old news now. So they're just jumping to whatever the latest trend is. And right now, a lot of people talking about the election, a lot of people talking about what's happening in Israel and Palestine, and they want in on that. I mean, it's that simple. Like, they don't care to educate themselves about it. They don't care to like have real discussion about it. It's just a drama, money making endeavor for them. And in a few months, maybe for some of them, a few years, they'll move on to whatever the next trendy bullshit is. And that's what that is. I mean, it's pretty clear that there are certain individuals that like just aren't, they're just generating views and interest in what they're doing because that's what they need to do to keep their stream going on.
Yeah. And that's like, I'm not a drama streamer at all. And the thing is, I just was like, let me just address it before anyone asks any questions. Cause I'm like I'm a very chill streamer. I do news, I do pop culture stuff, we do trivia, we watch the soap opera Dark Shadows on Saturdays. It's like I know people on this platform who do cover the drama, who do analyze it, because that's what they're good at and that's what their audience would want. But we know our audiences, what they like and don't like us covering, and see the comments, they're like, oh my God. And then other people are like, yeah, this whole situation is messed up. And, it makes no sense. It's very one-sided, it seems. But like, it's good to just get it out of the way because it is what everyone's talking about, unfortunately, on this platform. And then just move on from it and move on to the next topic. But I know Dan has something to say.
Right. Like, it's pretty clear that at this point, there are certain individuals who are just saying stuff. And I'm not talking about anyone specifically right now, but there are a number of individuals who very clearly are just saying stuff to generate attention. Like, it's the same thing every time, and they generate heat from doing it, and then they get outraged, and then they do it all over again. Because at the end of the day, the outrage brings them attention, brings them probably money, honestly, and that's the end of it. Like, if any of them wanted to actually have a substantive conversation on anything, you guys were talking about Emma Vigland before with, let's take the Ethan Klein thing. He's not a stranger to the Majority Report. He knows who Sam Cedar is, and he knows that if he actually wanted to have a conversation with anyone on the Majority Report, whether it be Sam or Emma or anyone, they would take it seriously and he could have that conversation, and it would be a nice conversation. No one would personally attack him. He might end up looking really dumb because they know what they're talking about and he doesn't, but they wouldn't do that like to personally badger him. It would be a real conversation. But no one wants to do that because at the end of the day, that's not what they're looking for. That's not what they're looking for. They just want the attention. They just want to say stuff and generate the views or whatever. Like, if anyone has a problem with anything I say, it's really easy to reach me. I do a call-in show every week. Call in. Everyone knows that when I have callers, we have a nice regardless of what your opinion is. We have a straight up, sincere conversation, and that's that. Like, you don't need to talk shit about me like behind my back. You could literally talk to me. I'm very easy to reach.
Yeah.
You talk shit to my face.
Okay, yeah, I will. Every year, again, as few or as many people will listen to me as possible. At the beginning of every year, I do a certain particular thing with my own media diet, and I encourage people to do their own thing. And I mean this entirely in jest, right? I mean this entirely in jest. I have a very dark humor way of doing things. But I do this thing every single year that I call kill your pundits, right? Which is just like, I think every person should just reassess their media diet at least once a year. The beginning of the year around New Year's is a New Year's resolution type thing that people do. And it's just sort of like a check in with yourself and be like, what are you consuming? Does it really matter to you? Because I'll be honest, like I'm good friends with Hassan. I've known Ethan Klein as H3H3 as like one of the original YouTubers, like for decades at this point, which is kind of wild to say. And so, you know, these people are in my brain. Also, I understand enough of reality to know that like there's a lot of attention paid to Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker and, you know, the drama and relationships that go on between these other leftist people. And I know that a very easy path for me to just like accelerate myself to get a lot of views is to just talk a lot of trash on my former employers, which is very tempting, and I'm probably going to do it still. But like, you know, there's a certain way to understand how this works, but there's also a point to be like, I think Mike and Lance, invariably, you've made these points earlier. The people on this screen, the people watching this stream, in addition to kind of like, you know, being ingratiated with these creators and the interactions between them, like we care about these issues. Some of us are deeply impacted by these issues. You know, I hope not, but I'm sure there are people within earshot or in 1 or 2 degrees of watching the show who have family members or friends or relatives who have lost lives in one of the many American taxpayer involved conflicts that have gone on, right? And so that is the real stuff that's going on. Like when, you know, not to gas myself up, but like one thing I encourage people to do is there's one thing just like live in a major city and pass by people who are unhoused just like every single day, and you know, maybe you don't have the money to do anything, but I just got together with a group of my friends, and in the summers in LA, we just like freeze water bottles and like give out frozen water to people who are unhoused because it's like fucking 110 degrees outside, and like this is just survival, right? Like, so what is this politics you're like? So much of media, so much of this tech bro, you know, controlled media, because these are algorithms that are showing us these certain things, right? It's based off of drama. It's who said this, who said that. And that, you know, BAM does, you know, world soccer politics, like world soccer news and stuff like that, right? Sometimes. So like that is relevant in those worlds. And Christina, you do like movie night extravaganza, and so you cover a lot of celebrities and stuff, and so that gossip and things like that, especially with, you know, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I think that's very relevant, and like you shouldn't belittle that, right? But when it comes to politics, I get really like I've snapped at some of my friends personally in a way that I've had to like, you know, control on my own, who are just like, oh, did you see what Hassan said? I'm like, I don't give a fuck what Hassan said. Oh, did you see what's going on with Emma? I don't give a fuck what's going on with Emma. These are my close, like, these are very close friends of mine. These are people I care about. These are people I work with on TYT. Also, that's the internet, dude. And I need more people to realize, even like, we're creators, and like I'm a content creator, and I have a very cynical, in my day job, I make ads. And so I'm like 360 degrees
So you
around
make
this
ads?
bullshit cycle. I make ad editor. I make ads editor.
Oh, ads. I thought you said hats. I was like, that's awesome. Can you show me some?
I wish I made the amount of money to justify my lifestyle just by making hats. That would rock, but no, I do advertising. And you know, I have a very cynical view of this entire thing. Like, this is just attention bait so that at my day job I can justify my salary and like all of the bougie luxuries that come with it to like, you know, sell advertising, right? Like they're not interested. The people who make these algorithms on these platforms, the Amazons, the Googles, the Metas, like the TikToks, they're not interested in you learning shit. They're not interested in you like actually gaining some engagement. Like they're interested in you watching this more. And if like the worst instincts of like, you know, human beings as social creatures of all of this drama like start to win over, then we start to get further and further removed from the politics. Because motherfucking Ethan Klein, I love Hassan Piker, but motherfucker Hassan Piker, right? There's as minimum 40,000 people dead in Gaza. On the maximum end, 150,000. I don't give a fuck about either of those two when that fact is out there, and no viewer of any of this shit should actually care. If you do care about that stuff, then like, you know, not that like we should engage with it. We should talk about it as like a vehicle to talk about these things. Sam Cedar talks about Dave Rubin stuff, not because he cares about Dave Rubin, because that's a vehicle to teach people about issues. Like, yeah, let's talk about it from there. But I'm talking to like the viewers. If that's something you're like spilling digital ink on, eyes on the prize, like eyes on the most important thing here. That's my rant. And that's why every single year I encourage it. I'm going to do it on PowerPoint again. Like I'm going to go through my own media diet and I'm going to like go right. I'm like, you know, fuck this person. This person's been great. Like this person's stupid. This person, and like, I'm going to go on a warpath on it. And
I'm so sorry, Matt.
You know, like I've been wrong. I had a minor thing with Kyle Kulinski because I thought that he was trading his gravitas with Joe Rogan over the rights of trans people, and Kyle Kulinski has since apologized for that. And I still got my head on a swivel around him, but I have a otherwise good relationship with him, and so I evaluate those sorts of things in this analysis. But I really just need people. This is politics. This isn't music. This isn't sports. This is politics. You got to have a good mind about these things. Otherwise, like, this is not your game. Like,
well, it's Dan, to your point, it's about picking and choosing your battles, right? I think that if we all got distracted by every little comment, we'd never focus on the real shit. And so to take an entire issue and hijack it for your own personal purposes or personal grievances, it just feels gross to me. And we all could do this. Like, one thing that I have kept my mouth shut about is Norm Finkelstein. He said anti-trans comments before that I do not like, okay? But I acknowledge the value in having him talk about Israel-Palestine. I think that he does a good job at explaining it. I think that he's able to reach people. But I'm not going to be like, hey, fuck this transphobe guy, because I'm not going to hijack that conversation for my own personal grievances, even though I disagree with the things that he said. I think that if he talks about trans people, you can have that conversation, but like, I'm not going to go in Hassan's chat and say, fuck this transphobe, fuck this transphobe. There's a time and a place for that.
Using one civil rights movement to hijack another too is profoundly fucked up, right? Like, it's
it
so
feels
counterproductive.
gross.
And you see that stuff happening on the internet all the time between different communities being like, you know, suddenly as if it almost feels like the CIA. I know it's not. I know I'm Alex Jones right now, but sometimes it genuinely feels like the CIA when you have these different communities just going at each other, and both of them.
Yes, Lance, real op hours.
Yeah, I know, but like it's like it's giving people with power a pass right now. Like, that's the fucked up thing about it all. And I'm just like, oh, we're all fighting each other when, like, you know, we should all just be loving each other and fighting the fucking the powers that be.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just sad. It's a sad situation. I feel like the genocide is haunting all of us, and like compared to that, nothing else really
reading a
matters
pretty
to me.
good book that talks about a lot of these things and the strength that we could all have.
Oh, that's a
especially
good book.
techniques on the internet. It's called Catalyzed by Mike Fig. I can't pronounce the last name, but
What
Mike
is it? Can I see the
Begins
name?
with an
Hard
F?
R. It's a hard R.
Yeah, I got this.
Figuardo, I think.
Something, I think so. I don't know. Either. Oh,
What
there he
flag
is.
is that?
Look at that handsome fella. Oops, we're gonna put
Is
that.
that a Lithuania flag? What flag is that? I genuinely can't see it.
Mike's book's really good. It's Rainbow Flag.
Thank
It's
you.
about
Thank you.
it's basically global movements about queer rights and queer liberation, especially in countries in Africa. How the internet has helped a lot of liberation movements in different countries where they might have oppressive regimes otherwise. Really good job, Mike, so far.
Thank you. Thank you.
Been a good book.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I should get. Can I ask for a signed book, Mike? Personally?
Yeah. Send me a message. I'll send you a signed one. I keep wanting to offer signed copies, but I don't know how to do that. I need to set up like a website or a Shopify or something or whatever. I just need I need to do a good Googling session to figure out how to do that. But it's still coming, I promise.
Yeah.
Get a tax guy.
He wanted to come back and say hi to Matt.
Oh.
Sweet
boy.
boy.
He looks very comfortable.
Yeah, if he's gonna just stay on my lap, it seems.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for letting me get out my rant. My main point is that
It was a great rant.
it's okay to like these people. Again, me and Hassan are tight. Like it's been a very long relationship, friendship coming with that, right? But I just employ the viewers. I really want viewers to. I think someone had a really good comment on here to not idolize any streamers, including the ones on screen. Please don't.
No.
Do not idolize me.
All of us.
Yeah. I take issue with what you said, Dan. I think that in general you shouldn't idolize people, but it's fine if they do it to us.
Except for the 6 people on camera right now.
When people
are
are
God emperors before you. And
when people like me and they're like, oh my God, there's, as someone who streams, there's better than subscribers, and it's better when followers come in and hang out after one stream and they're like, I'm glad I found this streamer in this community. This seems like a really cool place to hang out. You do fun stuff and I'm sticking. I feel safe. I feel, that is what I personally love the most when it comes to streaming. It's like, oh.
I love the super chats.
I love YouTube AdSense. That's what I like.
To Dan's point about the media, going through your media diet, definitely that's how I stopped listening to Aaron Mate years ago. Okay. Oh, did I do it? Oh, I'm talking shit. So yeah, you guys.
No,
yeah.
You guys
fine.
Yeah,
no, I'll go further.
No. That was a joke. I don't want to keep
Ben's
going.
Stop.
No.
Cut. Press the button. Press the button, Dan. You got your own button.
Let me get some popcorn first, Dan.
If you have any disagreements, please email Bam at. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think part of your media diet is Bam and I have had this joke for a long time. Al Jazeera is a great news source until they're talking about oil or the Qataris, right?
Yes. Yes.
You just got to understand the limits. The Associated Press, CNN, they're individual journalists who do good work at all of these outlets that we didn't like. Taylor Lorenz is someone who I think has been a really great journalist. They've bounced from a lot of other different platforms. She was at the New York Times. She was at the Washington Post recently. She's recently gone independent, which I think is a really smart thing for a lot of folks to do as an option if it works out for them. And, they're individual journalists who do good work, and I think there's a good focus to have on that. There's also a great cooperative media space through 404 Media and a number of others that are popping up that are also really good. I think we should just celebrate all of that in general, but we should also kind of understand the limits of media and kind of take, not to be super crude about it. And again, you can cancel any of these people, but take kind of a Chomsky-esque approach, an Armand Chomsky-esque approach. So these are the 5 frames of media and how to view it and how media influence works, because you can understand what's going on if you just understand Democracy Now! Is Democracy Now! And they're going to report news from a left of center perspective, but that doesn't mean they really compromise on facts. Meanwhile, Fox News is, I listen to the Ben Shapiro show fairly often, not because I'm learning shit from Ben Shapiro, but because I need to know how right-wingers think. I need to know how to argue their points better than they can understand them. And so if you can, that's what kill your pundits is. It's a flashy term, but it's really just think about your media diet. Think about how you consume media and what that means to you and how that makes you a smarter person to hopefully go outside and touch grass and apply all the smart things that the folks on screen other than myself are saying, and test out some of those persuasive theories on people, because that's where the battle really needs to be had.
You had me until you said touch grass.
Yeah. I don't know. Touch,
you gotta roll in it. Graze
you're a little
in
bit further north, so maybe like touch a cement, snow. I don't know.
Moist mountains. I don't know.
Touch puddles.
Bigfoot. I don't know.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I had on that. How do you talk about anything else on the power port side? Weird. Just like my obsession had just kind of been, again, kind of with the situation going on in the Middle East and with Gaza. I feel like the settlers have been more mask off over the past couple of weeks, in the sense that, Bam is making the first mistake of PowerPort, which is assuming that there is history that exists before October 7th. Shame on you.
Yeah, Bam.
But no, like, so many apologists for what has been going on. The people who a year ago were saying, no, Hamas bombed their own hospital, and oh no, we can't call it a genocide. Ethnic cleansing might be a little bit too far, but let's argue about the words. Like, the next frontier of that like the whole frontier of that argument was that, like, they are the world's most mortal army. Like, they're doing all of these things to, like, assert that they're doing all of the right things, even though all, international conventions of laws of war disprove that. You're seeing now the settlers who are, like, repeating things that you heard from Jared Kushner in the most cynical moments, that are like, we want to turn Gaza into the Trump Taj Mahal. Like, we want to turn it into a new resort. We want to put some Marriott, some courtyards, some this and that over there. And I have a clip, a couple of them. I'm not sure. I haven't heard the audio yet, but they're pretty short. But I can maybe speak the subtitles to them. But these are settlers who are speaking to American press, like English-speaking press, about their opinions on the whole situation. So I'll play this 17-second clip here. And
just think we need to kill them.
Yeah.
Every one of them, and that's it. And if not that, because the country will not let that happen, the government. Just the least we can do is just kick them out of our land, because this is our home, this is our land, and we deserve it.
That's like the Abby Martin documentary she did, and where she was interviewing
Gaza
Israelis.
Fights for Freedom.
Yeah, they said it the exact same thing. Like, none of them are good. They all need, like, even the babies and the kids, even though we know the average age of a Palestinian is, like, what, 19 years old? Like,
yeah, like, it's now
sad.
seeing that clip was from like, I don't know what to call it. Like, it's so morbid, but a conference, a gathering of settlers who are thinking of, like, okay, what are we going to do next with the Gaza Strip? We flatten it. There's, human rights, crews who are on the ground saying, like, the stench of death is overwhelming in the area. Meanwhile, they're over here, like,
woohoo,
drawing out plots of land, essentially.
Yeah,
partying.
Plots of land, hanging out on the beach. They feel like they're under, like, every time these like the paid influencers go to Israel, they're like, oh my god, where is the genocide happening? I'm like, not where you live. Clearly, you're out here on the beach, staying at a luxury hotel. Of course, what do you have to live in fear for?
I don't know if that was the same conference or whatever, or if these people were, like, outside, but a bunch of, like, Likud party members had some meeting talking, and, like, they are full, like, these people are fully in support of, like, resettling in Gaza after the war, I guess. And it was like some of the people that are in Netanyahu's cabinet or whatever were there. Apparently Netanyahu said that that's not going to happen, but people
Anthony
that are in
Blinken has assured us it's not going to happen. Did you see that? He's like, yeah,
thank
we
God he said
guarantee
that.
that we're not going to be doing resettlements and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh,
Right.
no.
I feel so
it's happening
relieved.
then. So it's definitely happening.
No,
Right.
Blinken has proven to be very trustworthy. So,
well, I mean, if Trump gets reelected, then that there's a green light on that resettlement like right now.
Yeah.
No, wait, Bam. He's going to free Palestine, though. Remember?
Right. No, he is definitely in free Palestine and
The
bombing
power
Rome.
report, the power report meme is that Trump is going to free Palestine in response to the people who feel that voting Republican is going to show the Democrats that they're doing wrong on Palestine.
I don't know why people still think Democrats can be like taught anything. Like you can't teach them a lesson. They don't care.
They're not going to learn the lesson electorally, and they're sure as shit not going to move to the left because of an electoral lesson. No, like they're going to move towards what they think is the center, and the Republicans are the horse pulling the cart, and they like have been for 40 years at least, in my opinion.
Yeah, but there's definitely like some people with power in the Israeli Knesset or whatever that want to put settlements back in Gaza. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily. I don't know if they want to like really do that. Like, it's not like you're going to be the one protecting it for real, but whatever. But Bibi said that that's not going to happen. So we'll see. I think there's going to be like Saudi settlements or something like whatever, like other Arab countries, like putting their like basically like UN forcing their military there. Like the Egyptians are going to have like settlements in Gaza, basically.
You're saying Agenda 21 was for Palestine the entire time? That's cold.
I mean, that's what I think is going to happen. Like,
that's
it's
cold.
For a long time, there were like Syrian soldiers based in Lebanon, and it got to the point where, like, the Lebanese people like really hated them. I feel like that's what's going to happen in Gaza. It's going to be like Egyptian soldiers or something like that.
It's a nightmare to try to like think through what it's going to be like. I mean, there was a report from the UN, and they said that Gaza has been set back 7 decades because of this. And then there was a different report, I can't remember who released it, that said that it would take 350 years to rebuild Gaza if they started today. And it just feels like, man,
it's all destroyed.
How do you?
I mean, there's no other way.
Nowhere to go.
Right.
You've seen the drone footage. You've seen the satellite footage. There's nothing left. Like humanity sat back and just watched it happen, and it's gone now. You know,
that number you quoted was correct, but that was from the UN report as well.
UN. Oh, okay.
The 350 years, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it might have been the same report then. Yeah. It's so sad to think about it because they're not even in the stage where they can start to think about rebuilding, not even close. And then you have Lebanon as well, where this is going to be another long-term occupation, and it always starts as this limited military incursion, and then it expands, and they never leave. There's always some excuse, even though they've taken out Hezbollah leadership, and now they took out Hamas leadership. They killed Yahya Sinwar. And after announcing that, Yoav Gallant, the defense minister of Israel, said that they're going to be in Gaza for years to come. There's just no end in sight, and there's no guardrails. There's no accountability. The United States is fully on board. And it makes you feel so hopeless because in a representative democracy, you would think that you'd have at least an option between no genocide and no occupation and the alternative, but there's not. It's just you get genocide, and now we're kind of choosing between the candidates who we think is going to best manage the genocide, which is really sick. And I think it speaks to just how rotten to the core our system is and how irredeemable our system is.
Well, one of the things I've been talking about on PowerPoint, like since the beginning, is like the responsibility that the surrounding nations have for the people of Gaza. And we've seen, really, in my opinion, all the surrounding countries have been complicit in like this genocide. I know that like the focus is on America a lot when it comes to the situation, but for me, the day that October 7th happened, I was like, that's a response to Saudi Arabia normalizing with Israel. Like they had
Abraham Accords.
Well, they had, like a couple of weeks before October 7th, they had the Israeli tourism minister went to Riyadh, and there was like a Saudi delegation that went to the West Bank, and that was the first time that's ever happened. And I don't know if Hamas was like, I don't know. I don't know if they were like, let's do one last hurrah before they get us out of here, or let's just try to like derail the Saudi-Israeli you know, party that's happening. I don't think they derailed it. I do think that Saudi Arabia and Israel are still probably communicating and are still going to be like normalizing their relations whenever it like the coast is clear, basically. But yeah, I for me personally, I feel like it's like I'm more ashamed of like Egypt and Jordan and like Saudi Arabia, these countries in the region that, at least with Egypt and Saudi Arabia, have like big militaries. They spend so much money on their military, get so much aid from America. It's like, what the hell do you have it for? Like Saudi Arabia just has a military to bomb Yemen. Egypt has a military. I for what I have no idea. Just in case there's more like Tahrir Square protesters. I don't know.
To protest more uprisings,
right?
Or to
like
crush more protests.
And you know, Egypt has been like terrible when it's come to Gaza over the years. I will never forget a video I literally saw Egyptian soldiers shooting at like grandmothers at like a gate, like at a fence. Like they're shooting at them from behind the fence so they don't come into Egypt or whatever. And yeah, it's funny when people say like Israel has no allies in the region. Like they literally do have. They're surrounded by allies. Actually, Jordan is an ally. Jordan helped them, and when Iran sent those drones, like Jordan was part of the coalition that helped defend Israel, along with like Bahrain. Egypt is the one that warned them about October 7th attack. Like even American politicians have confirmed that. So yeah, it's just a shame that these countries that are right there, that in my opinion, can put more pressure on Israel than America can, in my opinion. They just sit back and let it happen. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is an enemy of Iran. Hamas is an ally of Iran. So Saudi Arabia does not give a damn about what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with that being said, it's 7:30. Do we want to get to super chats now?
We're gonna go the entire stream and not talk about Lunchables, mold. Are we really not gonna talk about the stories that matter?
I don't eat Lunchables. You can. Can I tell you something about that? You can make your own Lunchables at home. Just get some deli meat and cheeses. Like, come on.
And crackers and yeah, and some Kit Kats, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Well, somebody made the point that the dudes, what's his name, Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, they were complaining about how Lunchables doesn't have real cheese. We have real cheese, no preservatives or whatever. And it's like, well, that's why they put the preservatives now, because it gets moldy really quickly. And the problem with Lunchleys is that you can't see, like there's no clear plastic like the Lunchables, so you can see if there's mold. So it's kind of like a little surprise. Will there be mold or will there not be with this box? And I just hate it. I like that everybody is shitting on this. I want to normalize influencers having their products just be ruthlessly shit on. Even if there wasn't mold and they were good, I would still want to shit on them. I don't like where influencer culture is headed. The cults of personality is one thing, but this whole marketing of their dumbass Lunchables, just fuck off. Like, I'm so sick of these people.
Yeah, and of course, McDonald's, has some. They basically got bad luck ever since Trump worked there. Tits and all, he should have not hid those knockers. Just saying, we all got him. I got him too. No shame in the game.
You see these fries? They never touch the human hand. They may touch E. coli, but they don't touch the human hand.
Yeah, that was
what even is? I didn't.
That was so weird how he said human hand.
I
totally forgot about it until you said it. I was meaning to mention it in front of someone. The fries never touch the human hand. What other hand would they touch? What other freaky ass fucking alien hand?
The fries never touch Arnold Palmer's penis. They're never gonna touch Arnold Palmer's penis.
Yeah, like that was a whole. I learned when Trump. I was like, there's probably gonna be like some type of outbreak, and like stocks are gonna go down, and there are E. coli, and then stocks.
Survey says.
I'm good at predicting.
Did the E. coli news break after Trump?
Yeah.
Or was it before?
Yeah.
Yes.
After.
I
didn't even
hear
about the
E.
coli news. Is there a
I'm gonna
widespread
just assume,
outbreak?
I'm just going to assume that
There's a
Donald
McDonald's
Trump
E. coli
brought
outbreak.
E. coli into that McDonald's and it's been spreading ever
Listen,
since.
These human hands.
It spread fast.
in a
No,
very
no
Donald
gloves,
Trump, in
no
a very
hair
Donald Trump
net.
fashion, I'm just going to explain 2 facts to you. On one day, Donald Trump did a photo op serving McDonald's. A day after that, McDonald's announced an E. coli outbreak. Those are facts. I'm not going to connect them for you. I'm just going to say those are irrefutable facts that one happened after the other. Ergo, henceforth, thereto, hither, QED, king me.
Correlation always
and
equals
equal.
causation. He did it.
You beat me to it.
He did it. He did
Correlation is just extreme causation. It's in the dictionary.
Literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just so funny to me that, like, you know, we're already boycotting McDonald's because of, you know, like anti-union and they're funding Israel and all that. But it's like, damn, E. coli too. Like, but this is what happens when Trump deregulated stuff. Like, a lot of people are like, why are we seeing more outbreaks with food and we can't trust food? I'm like, because of Trump's deregulating of like the with food and all that during his administration. You can thank him for that.
Okay. Once Robert F. Kennedy is the food czar, everything's gonna be all right, Christina. Don't worry about that.
We're getting
Wait, who are you impersonating?
That's
right?
my horrendous RFK. I should be canceled for that alone.
I thought it was an Alex Jones.
demonic Trump impression. But yeah, like we're gonna eat bear carcass and dog and a whale.
I thought you were doing like an old school like boxing trainer impersonation.
Again, I was doing.
You're gonna get him back. Don't worry.
The eye of the tiger.
Back in the ring, Rocky.
RFK could have been
kid,
like
you got
Little
it.
Max. RFK could have been Little Max Trainer in Punch Out. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, great reference.
Can you imagine him as the health secretary? God damn.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited.
He is Anthony Fauci. That rocks.
That is look, him
All
as
vaccines
health
will be banned.
secretary, Eileen Cannon as the attorney general. That's gonna be a wild fucking ride. I was gonna say wild 4 years, but it's like 4+ years.
I think you're getting this wrong. Eileen Cannon as the Supreme Court justice replacement for Alito or
Sotomayor.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I know y'all eagerly want to do super chats. I will say on PowerPoint we're used to going a little bit later, but I want to, and this beautiful time where we have the streams crossing together. We usually like to also treat all the episodes of PowerPoint as like time capsules of how we're thinking about things, and so once we hit midnight on the East Coast, depending on how John from San Antonio and Sam Cedar want to argue this, like 10 or 11 days out from the election, who are your locks? Who you think is going to win? It's a very cheap, easy way to say that,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, or the polls are really tight or close. But I think, to borrow a crypto term, there's been a lot of like fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the polls in a lot of different directions, to the point where I think it's really hard. And if you honestly are ballsy enough to make a call right now, I think that's incredible and very ballsy of you. And yeah, I will put my money where my mouth is. It's very hard to say. The cynical version of me wants to say that Trump has the edge. And I think that, you know, both of them are fighting like a race to be the worst at like campaigning. Like, Trump is not doing himself any favors. Kamala, for all the reasons we talked about, is not doing herself many favors either. But ultimately, I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling a little bit hopeful, and I think Kamala Harris can pull it out. But
I like your hopefulness.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
You're saying Kamala then?
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. You too, Christina?
Yeah, I feel like she's gonna edge it out.
Let's go.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm
Kamala
riding with
edge it.
Jay.
I have to
So,
agree
I
with
think
Dan
Joe's
because
got
he's
it.
gonna be my
She's
future
gonna-
husband. So
Wait, what'd you say, Lance?
I said I'm riding
Lance-
with Biden. I think Joe still got it. I hate all the haters who don't believe our base.
Lance is gonna write in Joe Biden
On everything.
Lance is gonna illegally.
He's gonna enter the country illegally and vote.
Lance is gonna vote in Vancouver, Washington, and pull the okey doke. No, yeah. Any other takers? Anyone else want to go on record?
I genuinely don't know. I will say I have an overwhelming sense of dread, but that's not new. I have that every single day. I'm being treated for that. But so whenever I feel that the election is going to go a certain way, usually the opposite happens. So I'm feeling currently that Trump's probably going to win. I don't have a strong feeling. I think there are reasons why Kamala can pull it off if you look at certain data points. If you consider the prospect of whether or not she's being undercounted in polling due to newly registered voters who are mobilized by abortion, if you take into account the fact that she's actually gaining with white, non-college educated voters and white women, which is pretty surprising. And to her credit, maybe disproves my point about her theory that, running to the right hasn't been working because, she's winning the suburban wine mom vote. But having said that, though, it's so close that I feel like since it's that close, my gut tells me that it's probably going to be bad. And I've kind of been conditioned to expect the worst from America because we are a fundamentally stupid country. Myself included, I'm deeply stupid. I'm American. I can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Kamala could win, but I feel like it's probably going to be Trump. But because I'm feeling that, maybe the opposite will happen because that's the way things happen. So it makes me kind of encouraged in a weird way because I'm like, oh God, Trump's going to win. Does this mean that Kamala's going to win? You know what I mean?
I secretly exactly have your opinion, Mike. I know what you mean. I just wanted to get the conversation going.
Well, I was on a previous episode of Power Report. I was Dan knows where I'm going. I was, being skeptical about Kamala's chances, and
in defense of Bam, me too, because Bam, go ahead.
Well, and I was just being skeptical. I'm like, well, this is a racist ass, sexist
ass country.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough for her. And then our co-host of that evening said, Bam, cut that shit out. Stop being negative. I'm tired of hearing that shit. And you're just putting bad vibes in the air, basically. And she told me to just basically be confident that Kamala's going to win.
Out.
And I was like, okay, you know what? If you're that confident that Kamala's going to win, if you're telling me she's going to win, I'm just going to believe you rather than stress about it like Mike.
That's smart.
I'm just not going to stress about it. And she was confident. So I'm saying Kamala. Now, if she's wrong, I might have to take a flight. But but yeah, so I'm just going to say Kamala because she told me to shut the hell up.
That's a good quote right there. Kamala Harris, 2024. Shut the fuck up. More like it.
I think there's some folks at the Brennan Center. I hope I'm getting that correctly, but they're one of the few folks, if I'm remembering, who are actually planning for okay, how would a state respond if Donald Trump was like, oh, I'm sending in Idaho's National Guard into Washington to handle some sort of Antifa uprising or whatever, right? They're actually creating the framework for states to actually engage with a Trump election sort of thing. And, we're even seeing it from the Republican Secretary of State in Georgia, who's like, yeah, we're not going to play that find me 11,000 votes bullshit game over here. We're not doing that this time around. No, sir. No, sir, Bob. So I have some more faith in institutions, and to play the, which parasocial relationship person said who game. I think Emma said something recently, Emma Vigland, that was just like, let's not forget that the media has the mainstream media, where we're getting all this information about polling and it being a tight race, they have an interest in the narrative of it being a tight race and polling being close. I'm not necessarily saying they're PCH, people doing motorbikes, sorry, but I'm not necessarily
not the cops this time coming for you.
Yeah, for once, it's fun times on the Pacific Coast Highway. But I'm not saying that like the mainstream media outlets like your Quinnipiacs or morning consults are manipulating polls any more than they already do. But I am saying that your CNNs of the world, your cable news of the world, are interested in it's a tight race. Keep it locked. Keep watching our coverage. Subscribe to our stuff, because this is desperation hockey for mainstream media. It's collapsing right in front of us, and so people trust folks like us on screen, and even the folks we've talked about in the past on this episode, they trust those institutions, quote unquote, more than the institutions, right? And there's pros and cons to all of that. Like I said, Bam and I's example of, you trust Al Jazeera to a point, but once they start talking about oil in the Middle East or Qatari politics or human rights abuses, maybe you tap the brakes. You just got to like be smart about the media you're consuming, and ultimately that'll work out.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Matt, does
Matt have a...
I know, I was curious too, but I'm like, I feel like Matt has a pretty good track record, which is why...
Let's keep talking over Matt. I really enjoyed that version of the show. He's tired anyways. He said we can railroad over him. It's fine.
Oh yeah, I have no problem this episode. Usually I'm the one yapping away. So I think this is the year Jill Stein's gonna finally pull it off.
That's right.
Yes.
Let's go. Get that 5%, girl.
Hell yeah.
I've been pretty I've been saying, I would say for the past couple of weeks and maybe even months, that I feel like at this point it does seem like Kamala will win, but that feeling has diminished little by little every day, every week that has gone by. And I feel like it's getting closer. I still think she will pull it off. As of right now, obviously, there's still, a week and a half to go. Anything could happen. But it does seem like she'll pull it off. But it felt much more of a sure thing right after she announced and had all that momentum, and before she her campaign basically threw it all away with this weird turn where they were approaching these barely existent non-Trump anti-Trump Republicans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing that I will say, just based off my my immediate like social circle, everybody says that I'm in like a bubble and I need to talk to more lefties. My family is basically half fascist, half liberal. And the fascist side, of course, loves Donald Trump. The liberal side is very fired up about Kamala Harris. Unlike other Democrats, unlike Joe Biden, they're like uniquely excited about Kamala Harris. Just talking to a couple of people. That's not worth much. These are just anecdotes. But, if that's some way comparable to other liberals who are also uniquely fired up in a way that I haven't seen, maybe there's something there. Part of it is, I think, the anti-Trump vote as well. Like, they're anti-Trump and they would be anti-Trump either way. But there is a difference between their response to Biden and their response to Kamala. I do notice that the difference is palpable.
For sure. I had a friend of mine. She was like, she had said that she didn't really care if Trump won because it would make her feel like people cared about Gaza, which I disagreed with. But then like after Kamala, that Trump and Biden, but then after Kamala announced, it was just like a complete like, oh my God, Kamala posting pictures. So it's like crying about like Kamala having a chance. And I was like, okay, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, part of it too is I think a lot of these like liberal women, they do feel better represented by Kamala, especially in this moment with Roe v. Wade being overturned, because Biden just was ass on that issue. He could not talk about it well. Kamala on this issue,
we beat Medicare.
Amazing. Right, we beat Medicare, and also undocumented immigrants are killing people. That's how Biden talked about abortion. But Kamala is much better about that, and this really, I think that we've underestimated. Well, some people have underestimated just how much of a motivating factor that is for a lot of people. And Kamala is a good representative of like a way to fix that. She understands it, she gets it, and also she's a woman, so she knows better. She knows how to talk to women about this. So that's one thing that takes away from my doomerism a tiny bit. Just the fact that there is that potential secret abortion vote out there. Not to mention abortion ballot initiatives in Nevada, Arizona, Florida. I don't think it's going to make a difference in Florida, but it could help drive up her numbers in Arizona if the people who come out to vote for abortion in Arizona also throw Kamala Harris a vote. And also, when you factor in the fact that the Democrats running in their Senate campaigns are doing pretty good against their Republican opponents, I think that's a good sign, just because we don't really have a lot of ticket splitters. You're usually either voting straight Republican or straight Democrat most of the time. So it would be weird to me to see somebody in Arizona, or a lot of people in Arizona, I should say, vote for Ruben Gallego, but then vote for Donald Trump. That just wouldn't really make a lot of sense to me. So it's really going to be interesting. We're not going to know for sure until election day, obviously, or maybe the day after. There's just so many different variables and factors that make this election so hard to read.
Lance, as a resident, most American
Canadian?
on this panel.
Yeah, wow.
I think Canadians are more Americans.
Why would you insult him like that, Dan?
What, you saying he's not allowed to have
American?
I think that he observes us like one would animals at the zoo, and so I think he has a certain perspective that maybe he can bring to us.
Well, you know what's
Yes,
weird is
Bam, I
this
meant
thing
that.
from like weird liberal Canadians where they like to hold their nose and be like, "Oh, as a Canadian, I'm so proud. I'm not, messed up like America is." But goddamn, do we ever have a shit ton of our own racism? I mean, we are a colonial genocide project, right? As a country, there's all the same shit you'd find in America here. It's just like we have some forms of healthcare. That's the biggest difference.
Yes.
Yeah. But who do I genuinely think is going to win? I would say if I was just basing it off the maths right now, it does look like there's a slight 1.3%, I think, but that's within the margin of error for Kamala Harris, the Harris and Waltz ticket. And as that gap closes, as we get closer, I'll get more frightened. But I would still say that it looks as if they're going to win. But I cannot shake the kind of Hillary Clinton-y vibes that have been happening over the past couple of weeks that are really, really disturbing. And I don't see a benefit to going to the center or trying to appeal to the center at the expense of your base. I think it's extremely, extremely risky. But we'll see. I mean, hey, maybe they'll switch from Dick Cheney good to Hitler too bad, maybe, and go with that.
Yeah, I saw somebody put a tweet up on Twitter. I don't remember who said it, so I can't credit them. But they said something like, "Republicans, we're fascists. Democrats, we're Republicans." That's kind of, that's what this feels like,
That's America. That's what we got. Yeah. This ain't some leftist country. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we got, dude. But we're working on it. But it's
and we need every single, I'm not vote shaming. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm not telling you how to vote for, swing state, whatever. That's not this conversation, right? What are you going to do to be accountable to your choice every single day after election day until the next election? Because I care much more about that. And I think objectively that's much more important and much more substantial than your ballot's important, especially down ballot. The further down ballot you go, the fewer people are voting. So the more your vote matters. So I don't mean to belittle that, but that's one day. That's one form. That's something that you can, in places like California, you can kind of fill it out kind of early and just thug it out and just drop it whenever you want to, right? Like that's fun. As long as no one's burning your ballot box, which is happening in a couple places too. See above, welcome to America, right? But What are you going to do every single day after that until election day 2026? Or some people have 2025 elections, whatever, right?
Every year is an election year.
Yeah. Every year is an election year. What are you going to do in between now and then to actually like walk it like you talk it? Like actually speak like and stand up to your political beliefs in your area to expand the left, to create more community. Like actually do
If
that.
tomorrow any single person listening to us goes and donates blood, you'll save 2 lives. That honestly will probably change the lives of 2 individuals who need that blood. If you've never done it before, you can donate blood. It's not painful. It's very fast, and you get free cookies and pizza. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll save 2 lives. You want to lord it over other people, say that you're a literal hero and that you saved 2 lives today, but there's one little teeny way that you can actually, make the world better and maybe feel a little bit more hope. Go donate some blood.
That's a great recommendation. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we do super chats now?
Yes,
absolutely.
Someone
All
asked
right.
me about makeup, and I'm like, as always.
So, okay, Dan, are you linked to the StreamYard as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
So
I'm streaming to my like YouTube and Twitch as well. Yeah.
Okay. So yours might come up.
Just quickly to the person saying, Lance, do you want Kamala Harris to say abolish Israel? That wasn't the point of that statement I made. I said that there's to the extreme, like lefties.
Yes, that's what he said.
She doesn't represent our beliefs and stuff like that. You're never going to hear her say something along that vein. That's my point. You're not going to like if you're expecting her to say something like we should end an apartheid regime or something like that. She's not going to say that. I'm saying what I would like
legalize sex work.
Yeah, I know. What I would like her to say is that we're going to follow international rules-based order as you should. We're going to use the Leahy law or something to that effect. Doesn't even have to be that specific, but you could very easily say something to the effect that we are going to follow the law. We are going to obviously, try and limit the amount of weapons if they're committing crimes against humanity, committing war crimes, collective punishment, white flaws. It doesn't matter. That's the point of that. Yeah.
Lance is getting a phone call from Mossad tomorrow morning.
The phone's gonna blow up.
Rip to you, buddy.
All right, so the first one here is from Tokyo Hans. I'm not sure who this is for. It is not for
Maybe for me. 1 second. 1 second. No, it's not. Oh wait, I see two from Tokyo Hans. One from even before that post.
This is
Tokyo Han says,
I can go.
I'm sorry for your loss. My apologies for teasing you about it so much last week. Whispering, go Dodgers. I get it. All right. My Mets.
Doyers.
Tokyo Hans then also says, so happy to see Cosmopolitics. Christina is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, this one's from me, from the International Party of Antarctica. Thank you so much for the $5. You need to upgrade to the Transhumanist Report and get with the winning team, Figueredo. Okay. Well, I'm part of the Cishumanist Report. That's my version of a dad joke. Okay. Next one.
Rachel Atwood with a super chat. Have you heard about Kemi Badenoch in the UK? No. What? Do you guys know?
Running for a parliament seat or something like that? Perhaps. Maybe. Look at our fact checkers on that.
I apologize as the probably most British person on the panel. I have
You're
not
Belgian.
paid. Noted Belgian Dan from the internet. Noted enslaver Dan from the internet. I have not paid enough attention to
UK politics.
Badenoch, in that sense. All I know is I've just been loving this clip of like a former, I think, an MP who dated who's like who's like the leftist guy who ran for labor who like we all generally
Jeremy
enjoy.
Corbyn?
Jeremy Corbyn. She dated Jeremy Corbyn, and she was complaining that like, oh, it's so annoying, we never do anything romantic, we never go out for drinks or anything. And then Jeremy Corbyn finally takes her out to a date, and it's to the cemetery where Karl Marx is buried.
Oh my god.
I'm just like base. Base.
That's actually really romantic.
The complaint that she had was that Jeremy Corbyn's life was 100% politics.
That's so fun. Relatable.
And the best part was that she said, I wasn't ready to be the 1%, which kind of burns as a leftist for your partner to be like, I don't want to be your 1%.
Damn, that's
okay,
funny.
but thank you for the comment. I will look into them. Thank you for bringing them on my radar.
Okay, so this one for me is from Rolando Capalleja. Thank you for the $10, Rolando. Mike, do you take part in any Halloween activities / traditions? This year I watched practical EFX masterpieces such as The Thing and An American Werewolf in London and playing Amnesia: The Bunker. That sounds like a lot of fun. I don't necessarily have any traditions, but like you, I like to watch a lot of scary movies. And then we hand out Halloween candy to trick-or-treaters, and we always get like a little special Halloween package for our niece and nephew when they come. Be it like a king-size bar.
Substance yet?
Huh? Which one?
Have you watched The Substance?
Substance?
Oh,
no, is that good?
So good.
I'm gonna write that down.
Lance, you know what? You should come on Moon Night Extravaganza one time, or a lot of times, because we're covering The Substance, but we already got like a guest book for that. But like any time, I'll we could.
You talked about that. I've seen that. Late Night with the Devil was really, really good too.
Ooh, we haven't covered that one yet.
Okay.
Oh, that one was good. I just saw that. That was really
Yeah.
good.
It's good, eh? Yeah, it's entertaining.
Oh, it's in theaters still, Substance?
Yeah, certain places.
So.
Oh, okay.
I also saw The Apprentice because me and the director have kind of like buddied recently.
cool.
He's
Who's the
kind of a
director? That's
hardcore
cool.
lefty.
Ew.
Wow.
But
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, but speaking of Halloween, we won't be doing any of trick or treating or anything because Halloween falls on a Thursday this year. So we'll be sitting here with Phil. No, I'm joking. We're not doing a Halloween show. We're not
announced
gonna
we're doing the Leftist Mafia on Wednesday instead. We forgot to tell
yeah,
you.
we're going to do a Wednesday Leftist Mafia next week.
Yeah. I was
We're
really
not,
excited
you
to
know.
just not do a show, and then
Hey,
Matt
Bam,
was like, "Let's
guess
do
what?
Wednesday." I'm like, "Oh,
That'd be silly. No, I would. We're gonna miss the last Leftist Mafia before the election, and no way.
Well, we will be together on the election as well.
Wow.
And announcement, should we announce it here?
Yes.
Y'all do it. Yeah.
We're going to do a
I'm too shy.
crossover with Power Report on election day. So they'll be back. Yeah, that's going to be... We'll have to work out the details still. I don't know what time we're all going to
Well,
start.
I'm starting at stupid o'clock in the morning.
Are you really?
I got
Yes.
I got some news. I will be doing the election night stream with the majority vote.
Oh no!
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I assume so. Obviously.
Yep.
So
No, yeah,
sorry
that's
guys.
fine.
No, I'm actually planning on bringing my laptop to the Brooklyn venue.
Oh, that'd be cool.
When I'm backstage or not on, I'm gonna hop on and talk with you guys. So
That'd be
I
cool.
will be here. I will be doing double duty.
Okay.
On
okay. I like
election.
that.
Yes, I'll be at the live show. Rachel, who is in the chat, asking. Yes, Sam Cedar finally sent me that invite. He said he
They're
meant
doing
to
like
do
a
it weeks
live
ago.
show, like in person.
Yeah, I can't go and ask
That'd be
Sam out on a
fun.
date.
One day you'll get that chance to take that shot.
Well, I have an idea. I have an interview type of like idea in mind called.
You have a trap. You have a
You
trap.
know how it's called date right stuff? What about date left stuff where I interview like leftist content creators, like it's a virtual date?
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, like what are your interests? What are your hobbies? That's
Yeah.
a fun idea.
Like outside of politics, perhaps.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's fun. It'd be a nice way for people to kind of like decompress, for creators to decompress and people to get to know creators. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good idea, Christina.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
do that.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm gonna be. I'll just say like I will be. If we're doing the things we were talking about, I'll be starting like at stupid o'clock early in the morning, and I'll just be like reacting to what's going on, figuring out what guests we can bring on to talk about the election. Yeah,
And-
just like
And
commiserating.
I'll be on with you
together.
at stupid o'clock too, by the way.
Yeah, because you're on the East Coast, and so you will be
Mm.
able to be awake early, and I'll be able to be awake later. So that's the game.
I am not going to jump on until they start counting the votes.
So 7 Eastern.
That's fine.
I do.
I don't
I do
know.
wonder. I do wonder how late it's gonna go because it's not gonna necessarily.
We're not gonna know.
Yeah,
We're
you
good.
don't think so?
4 hours to go. Oh, wait,
We'll
I
get a
gotta-
sense, I think. We'll get a
I
sense,
think.
but we might not know for sure.
Yeah, I think. You know.
There's definitely
based
gonna
on
be
some
some
of the-
outlet that tries to call it early. But go ahead, Matt.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
But like North Carolina is going to come in pretty fast, and if she takes North Carolina, you could pretty much call it, in my opinion.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Because North Carolina was not in play last time around.
But if she doesn't take North Carolina, that doesn't necessarily mean that Donald Trump has locked it. But that also doesn't look
Right.
good for Kamala Harris. So like there's a
It's
game.
just her path is more narrow.
Matt, we gotta get the people to watch. We gotta get the people to engage with it. You gotta sell it, Matt.
Matt, let me tell you, last in 2020, I put out my map the morning of election, my final map the morning of election day, and it was like 99% accurate. I had it. Yeah, I think the only state I missed was Georgia, and that's because I wasn't convinced at the time.
I could have told you, but I didn't know you back then.
Yeah, no, it was.
Georgia was a tough
It
one.
felt. Yeah, it felt like you know, it felt like it wasn't happening, but I was wrong. But I remember that night when all the states were coming in and it was close in certain states and people were freaking out. I was like, everyone chill. It's looking good. And everyone's like, are you kidding me? It's over. Biden lost. I'm like, chill. It's looking good. Trust me. And it ended up being fine.
We should go back to super chats in a moment, but the thing that's tripping me out is the early voter thing, because before in 2020 that was just like, okay, early voter counts are pretty much a lock for the Democrats because the Republicans have catch 22 themselves into treating early voting as like, haram. And so, or whatever the Christian extremist version is of haram, right? And so now, Donald Trump is now openly saying, I love open voting. It's great. You can vote and it never touches the human hand other than yours. And so,
I mean, technically.
Again, right. So I think that's there's so many, every 4 years, there's such a different calculus, especially right now, that the pollsters might be overcorrecting for. The media is definitely trying to hype up. And so it's just impossible to tell, unfortunately, which is, I think, more an indictment on our state of our, media ecosystem. But super chats, baby.
All right. So this one is from Wanda. I'm not sure who this is for.
I guess in general.
Yeah, it could be for David Dole also, because David Dole, his channel, both of his channels are linked up. But if this is for you, Dan, or Christina, or I guess that you both have your Twitches linked up.
Yeah.
So
I think
I have my YouTube, but yeah,
this is probably for like everyone in general to know if anyone in the chats live in Maryland, perhaps.
Yeah,
it's definitely not mine.
Because I don't live in Maryland.
I will go ahead and read it. Wanda is always really good about reminding us about this stuff. If you live in Maryland, early voting starts today. Make a plan to vote. You can register in person and vote the same day. We have a key Senate race. So thank you so much, Wanda. I really appreciate Wanda always. She always gives us these reminders, and it's very important. This one's for me. Armando Hernandez with $5. Thank you, Armando. Doesn't Israel have spies in the U.S.? Yeah, probably, and a lot of them are
on Twitter right now.
Too. Yeah.
The U.S. has spies in Israel.
Yeah,
Iran has spies in the U.S. Yeah.
Israel just arrested like 7 people, accusing them of being Iranian spies.
Did they really?
Yeah, there was like I think like 7 of them, and they like have tied them to like different acts within Israel.
Yeah,
they were Israeli Jews, but they did happen to be from Azerbaijan.
I have spies on all of y'all. Just kidding.
And I'll also say that Israel, Mossad, not the best spies. Need I remind you, they got Yahya Sinwar by mistake.
I don't know, dude. The Hezbollah shit was pretty hard. I gotta give him credit, dude. Like, you're blowing up the pagers and the walkie-talkies. I gotta give you credit for that. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Incredibles 2 ass Bam over here. Whatever. Anyways.
Okay, so a Bay Photo with $9.99. Thank you so much. This one is from me. Appreciate that. I think folks are forgetting Kamala started with Biden's underwater numbers, and much of early gains were Dems re-engaging. That said, not looking forward to the Dems running Liz Cheney in 2032. LOL. Oh God,
Don't get me
don't
started on
speak that into the
2032.
universe.
Can we just get past this one?
Gavin 2032 is what Bam thinks I would say, because
Oh,
Bam thinks I'm a
God.
Gavin booster.
You are. And a Kamala booster.
Okay.
Okay, another one from Bay Photo, $4.99. Thank you so much. Very generous. But I'm not convinced that this race was going to be anything other than close. And I think that that is a perfectly reasonable expectation. Kowalski with $9.99. Thank you so much, Kowalski. I refuse to defend Hassan in this entire exchange. Not that I think he's in the wrong or anything. I just cannot stand live streamers who eat while streaming. A protein bar? Okay. But a whole burrito? No. Yeah, that's a fair point, honestly. That is a very fair point.
I got this. Oh. I gotta stop. I watch too much Hassan. I'm starting to adopt a lot of his shit too, like eating on stream.
Please don't.
Okay, Brandon Kim, $20 super chat. Very, very generous. Thank you so much. Mike, thanks for sharing your feelings on Ethan. No problem. I watched him and Hassan. I stopped subscribing after he compared JVP to Kapos. Yeah, that also pissed me off. I did not stop there, but that was a lot for me.
Compared Jewish Voice for Peace to whoa.
Yeah, that was another one of the things that people rightfully criticize him for that he doesn't like. Also, Matt, for fuck's sake, bring Usama on Leftist Mafia to talk about Balochistan.
Yes, I know. We're gonna do that after the election, so that way people can focus on things other than the election.
We all have election brain right now, so.
What is Kapos?
What?
What is that?
Someone else.
Nobody knows?
It is the so it's I believe Jewish people during the Holocaust that worked for the Nazis. I want to say.
Okay. I thought it was like some like new thing or something.
And also
was
and
one
also
of the prisoner functionaries, a prisoner in a Nazi camp, who was assigned by the SS guards to supervise forced labor. Or
I know that. I thought it was like something like I didn't know.
Yeah, and a lot of them were like Jewish people who happened to have like blonde hair and blue eyes. Like if you looked Aryan and yet you were Jewish, you got some slack.
I thought it might be something different. That's why I was asking.
Learning a lot about Bam's real opinions tonight.
Holocaust.
Those don't exist.
Okay, so let me see. I think we're at Tokyo Hans, and I believe this is for Binder.
Did you get the Wanda? Did you read the Wanda one?
I did, yeah.
The Maryland early voting?
Yes.
Boy, you are tired.
I am. That was for me. My bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay,
Wanda. Thank you. Tokyo Hans. This chat is just to give Matt some more speaking time. I had my time. I'm good for today.
Reclaiming Matt's time.
There you go.
I'm rarely this tired. I'm usually the one who's bringing us home on these streams, taking us all the way to the end. And tonight, I can't. I'm falling.
I feel like that all
you see
the time.
This, Elon? This is what a real father looks like.
Yes.
Oh, did you see this Wall Street Journal story that just broke while we were on the stream?
Of course.
Apparently, Elon Musk has had numerous conversations with Putin without people knowing.
God, of course.
I'm not surprised.
Of course.
And part of the conversation apparently was Putin asked him not to send Starlinks up over Taiwan in order to appease China.
Huh.
Wow.
Of course. Typical.
This is why billionaires should not exist, because they have so much power. They're as powerful as a whole fucking government.
Yeah.
If not more powerful, actually. Okay, so this one is from Lizzie for Matt, Dan, or
Lizzie Bennett with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Lizzie. Don't know if you mentioned this on your show, but would you like to know more about the 6 ballot measures up for a vote in NYC? I know how I'm going to vote for all but number 3. I could be persuaded either way. I don't even know what the 6 ballot measures are, Lizzie. I'm sorry. I'll have to look them over and let you know. I've not looked at anything. I've obviously I'm doing my job here. No, but I think it's I'll look at them and I'll let you know. I think you don't have to worry about it yet. It's not election day. Give me
I'm rubbing your back, Matt. I'm rubbing your back. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, Lizzie, just based on what I know as an Oregonian, I'm leaning towards voting yes on that, or I would vote yes for that if I was in New York. So for what it's worth.
Wait, it's probably not the same thing though. What are you talking about?
No, it's in the New York, but I know all 6 of them. I'm just fucking around.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Wait, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I have no
on.
idea what it is. I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Ballot Proposal 3. Currently, the City Council provides cost estimates for proposed laws before voting on them. This proposal would allow the Mayor's Office of Management and Budget to offer its own estimates for these laws and require the Council to publish both sets of estimates before public hearings. It would formalize the requirement for the Council to notify the Mayor's Office before holding public hearings or votes.
I'd vote no on that, just because who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Do they show
I would have to?
Because here, like,
for the ballot measures, what I would do is I would actually look up if any progressive organizations in New York, which there are many, put out a recommendation on what and why. They usually do. That's usually, if you're not sure about the ballot measures, a lot of there's a number of progressive organizations that put out like find out how the Working Family Party wants us to vote on that and read their reasoning, and if it makes sense to you, then that's the way to go.
Yeah. I do this special that I did on my channel, youtube.com/Dan from the Internet, the Dan from the Internet voter guide, where I'm like, I go through my own ballot, but I also go through my logic for doing these things. And what I'll add to what you just said, Matt, which is great advice, is that I'll compare, I'm in Los Angeles County, I'll compare different progressive groups against each other, because sometimes that's where you get the really interesting conversations about why one progressive, or, left of center, I'm talking about like democratic socialists or further left, are yes on this position, while some other group is like no on the same position. So you get some really interesting conversations from that. So look through those, but also do your vetting of those sources as well, because you never know what could be corrupted or what could be my mom gets this thing that's like the liberal voter report that comes once every 4 years. That just like says to vote for all the Republican causes. So again, do your due diligence. Just because it like has a label, don't assume that they're
That's
true.
so cynical. Holy shit.
Oh,
right.
Politics.
Also,
baby.
like some of these proposals, I don't even know. Like I'm looking at ballot proposal 6, and it says first it would create a permanent position for the chief business diversity officer, which sounds good, right? Chief business diversity officer. And then you find out it's a role that was created by the Adams administration. And now I'm second guessing if we should have that, because if the Adams administration formed it, then it was probably some bullshit role Eric Adams made to give his buddy a high paying job in the administration. So I would need to read more about what progressive organizations think of this, because I can't tell just by reading it, honestly.
Diversity in the sense of like 50% cop representation, 50% non-cop representation. Or
it also
60%
says
cop representation.
It also says the ballot proposal would also give the mayor the power to issue film permits. That responsibility is currently under the Department of Small Business jurisdiction. Again, is this something that the Eric Adams administration wants? Because it sounds to me like Mayor Eric Adams is like, wouldn't it be great if I could
want to
issue the
be
film
on
permit?
TV?
So
then
all
yo
these
dumbass gonna have
all
to
these
go through
Hollywood
me.
production companies have to bribe me for the film permits. I mean, isn't that what that sounds like, right? Like, I gotta know more about why he wants that power, right?
No, that's bad. That's
Are
corrupt.
we gonna have a bunch of Turkish productions in the New York City area if Adams gets that? I mean, I need to know.
Yo, those pre-flight videos for Turkish Airlines are about to go so hard.
Wow. So before we go to the next super chat, do Lance, Christina, or Bam have any Twitch messages or?
I could read them super fast. Brithiel, thank you for the prime. Really appreciate it. Aussie call me Plant Lady. Thank you for the prime. Hello, lovely scientist. Thank you for the prime. SS Cat, thank you for the prime. And then over on the YouTubes, Laney Lou, thanks for becoming a member. Sassy Cesserai, thank you for the $2. What do y'all think people should be doing? Canvassing. I think y'all should be looking at a lot of the down ballot measures. Personally, that would be my thing, because every single American election, it seems like there's so many important things that people get to vote on, like, you know, legalizing weed in your state and stuff like that. So if you're burnt out or bummed out about the presidential choice, avoid it and look toward, well, I mean, don't avoid, like, don't not vote, but I'm just saying look towards other shit. I don't know if you guys have other things.
Basically, fuck Eric Adams is what one of my commenters said, so I'm like, yeah.
Oh, by the way, someone in the chat says Working Families Party actually recommends a yes on ballot proposal 1, which seeks to amend the New York State Constitution's Bill of Rights by adding additional protections against discrimination based on ethnicity, origin, age, disability, and sex, including sexual orientation and gender identity and pregnancy. So a yes vote on this safeguards the right to abortion under the state constitution, ensuring lasting protections based on pregnancy status, regardless of any changes at the federal level. That sounds good. And the Working Family Party recommends you vote yes on that one. And then they recommend for 2 through 6, you vote no. So there you go. So I was right about the Eric Adams stuff. It does seem like Working Families Party has the read on that, and that's literally probably what he's trying to do.
JCast, thank you for the $2. Take Lance and David's Trey Leches super chat. Looney Tunes 9000, thank you for the $4.99. The real reason Matt Binder left for 39 minutes was because Binder was looking at porn. He's not tired at all. Well, he's probably tired now. I'm sure he's exhausted after all that porn.
Listen, if I was to be looking at porn, I can guarantee you it's not at 9 p.m. when my kid is up doing homework. I can tell you.
Real savage hour.
Yeah. And finally, this is my last one. Death of Philippe Auguste, $10. Talk about Bam's diss track. I haven't listened to it. I can't speak on it yet. I can speak on it after I listen to it.
I did make a couple diss tracks to Benjamin Netanyahu because when what's his name? Macklemore. When Macklemore's song came out, he didn't mention Benjamin Netanyahu, and I was like, how do you not mention this person? And I kind of felt like people were forgetting about Benjamin Netanyahu and like just blaming it all on Joe Biden. So I had to like put Benjamin's name back in the mix. So I made a couple diss tracks, and
where can I find them? Do you have a SoundCloud?
They're on SoundCloud. Dan's doing something right now.
No, I have no.
Can you share the link?
I'll put one of them in here.
Yeah, Bam, you do that. I can't control StreamYard the way I usually do. Usually I have as a clip I can play, but it's not my StreamYard, so I can't do that.
Oh, you just reminded me when you said sharing a link in the chat. I'm streaming to a second channel I created today because I want to get it monetized. So I have a channel to like do like video game streams and other bullshit that doesn't fit on my main channel. And I forgot to, because I was late, I forgot to mention anything about it. So it's been this show has been streaming to the second channel I created with 0 viewers the entire time. So I'm just gonna really quick. Obviously, you're not gonna watch it at this point, but maybe you guys can help me get to the 1,000 subscriber thing. I'm not gonna get the watch hours tonight, so I'm gonna drop that second channel in the chat. Just click the subscribe button, so I'm halfway to getting it monetized. If you can.
What's it called?
Okay,
Matt Binder Live, or
it has no name. My channel is it's just called my second channel right now. I'll give it a name, but I'm just trying to get it monetized right
Binder
now.
Gaming, let's go.
Okay, so this is Bam's Netanyahu diss track.
Oh, you're not going to be able to monetize this on YouTube, by the way.
For the real ones, no apologies. Frontline protesting, camping at the colleges. Yeah, it's about letting somebody gotta acknowledge them. Fuck Netanyahu and every occupier. I think it's beat weak, but I'm a flex. String netting up so we can hang up by the neck. He's been in Israeli politics for 30 years, so ICC, that's cool, but we need more than the rest. Yeah. Look, I'ma have to murk you, kill you, shoot you, stab you, clap you, drill you, big cap, heal you, serial monster killer, genocidal madman, you Adolf Hitler, you about to go viral, you the most hated, the whole world know you a bitch, look, you made it, so when the gun's blazing, you on the front page and ain't no rest in peace, bitches, blunts blazing, it's a pack watch, nothing getting clapped up, ain't no back shots, catch him in the whip, hit him up like Tupac, fuck a whole clip, get up close with 2 shots, man, it's getting too graphic, I think not. Yeah, spin again. Ill hand said it's all about the Benjamins. Body bag zipping them. Get the whole crew to stomp them out. I'm thinking like 50 mini men. No, did he really commit war crimes? Preside over a modern day genocide. Then karma's a bitch and you finna die. You better hope that we don't catch your punk bitch ass outside. Yeah.
I like the slowdown.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I like the chop and screw bit on it.
That was good. Although now I'm worried that we're all going to be on an FBI watch list.
Oh, you're not going to be able to monetize that. The one time I played that version on stream, YouTube was like, eh.
Really?
That
was good though, Bam.
At least in Russia and Ukraine, you can't monetize Not Like Us in Russia and Ukraine. So if you're hoping to get some YouTube AdSense money from Russia and Ukraine,
I will privatize the VOD.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, that is one of two. There was one before that, but yeah, people were forgetting about netting, and I was getting annoyed. I'm like, dude, like, what's going on online that y'all are just mentioning Biden and not Netanyahu? He's the one that's actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't wait for a B2B of DJ Lance and Bam. That'd be exciting.
I'm done.
Do we have more super
so
chats?
the next one.
Oh, we do have more super chats, right? Let's get to the super chat.
We do. Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to find my place. So we have Lizzie Bennett, $5. Thank you, Lizzie. How's the audio version of your book coming, Mike? I haven't started it. I don't know when I will. I'm just kind of I'm over it after spending so much time on it before releasing it. So maybe with time I'll record an audio version. I know a lot of people like audio versions. I didn't even consider it because when I read, I never listen to audiobooks, but it's way more popular than I expected. So maybe it'll come in the future, but right now I need to take a break because I'm burnt out on my book. I read it too much. This one is not.
Tokyo Han says, I want a signed copy of Mike's book, signed by Matt, though.
That's amazing. Well, we'll work something out. I'll send it to Matt, and he can send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. J Cass with $2 for Tres Leches cake. Okay, hey, I'll take it. Thank you so much. Looney Tunes one.
Oh, it's for me. One of the
Dan.
commandments of the leftist mafia: thou shalt not watch TYT, Fox News, Corruption Media, Tim Pool, Daily Wire, and Ben Shapiro.
I mean,
No, you
what's
guys can
Corruption
watch, you guys
Media?
can watch all that.
Yeah, I was like, I
You
don't know even what
I've never
corruption
heard of
media
that.
is.
we won't be
I
able
don't
to
know
listen
what that
to
is
it
either.
because apparently he doesn't want to debate Sam, so he's gonna also
Tim
Oh, that's still happening.
that's
There-
still
there's-
happening. Oh man,
Is it?
that means Sam has to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. He doesn't want to do
He
that.
does.
So Tim Pool's a dad?
Well, apparently he's going to start a family. He's not a dad yet. But
With
he
who?
will be.
His
His COO. I was watching his full live stream yesterday, and apparently he's going to marry his COO of the company. So
The old
I'm sorry,
Elon.
Cassandra Fairbanks.
Elon. Yeah.
Not
No.
Cassandra Fairbanks.
Is she at least getting a
Different
horse out of the
Nazi, or-
deal?
I do not know what the deal is. I just think it's kind of funny
When-
to
Oh,
put someone as
God.
CEO of
announced-
your company and then
When he announced, it was unclear to me if he was saying like he's
Hi, Kevin.
already going to be a father or if he wanted to. Like it's still like, if you
At this-
listen, he does.
at the start of the stream he says I am announcing that we're gonna get married and that like apparently they've got a kid on the way or something. So I think it's official. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think Tim Pool knows where it is.
Congrats.
He doesn't know where
Where's
something
what,
is.
Dan?
No.
Dan,
come
what?
on.
For bringing male
don't gotta
pattern
be like
baldness
that.
into the. Oh.
No.
He thinks you put the beanie where the. Never mind.
Don't do that.
All right, let's
Why-
move on. God.
Damn, Dan.
He didn't use a weenie beanie.
No. I'm happy he's debating.
he watched
Sam.
it
I can't
first.
wait to watch that one.
He is
That's gonna be
he is
good.
still debating Sam. That is the thing that's going down.
Poor
Here's what
Sam.
I will say. I hope that having a family changes him for the better, and he realizes that he might be creating a world that isn't the best to bring a kid in.
Come on,
not
Mike.
holding
You
my
know
breath,
he ain't gonna do that.
But it'd be really nice if he
That's
he
what
grew
happened.
up a little bit.
That's what happened when Matt Walsh had like his 5 kids. He realized he wanted to make the world a better place, and he changed completely.
That's true.
So
Big
true.
crowd.
Now look at him.
So true.
Didn't he say he would like disown his kids if he found out any of them were trans? Something
Yes.
worse than that. Like something, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
No.
he would be abusive. Like he would I would do child abuse on my kid. Like.
But yeah,
something
Mike,
like
I
Yeah.
love your optimism, but in the words of Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants, no.
Yeah. Some people, they just don't change. All right, Sakti with $5. Thank you, Sakti. I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost. Cat from Halo Reach. That's a throwback right there. Next one here. For either Matt or Dan.
It's for me. Sassy Sassarai says the right uses communication as a delaying tactic.
I think any politician does too, because I mean, rightly the whole, okay, Israel, we're giving you 30 days to figure out what the hell is going on. Like that is a rhetorical delay tactic if I've ever seen one, because there's nothing that can be proven or solved or fixed in 30 days that is not, like many things that have to do with America domestically, just an issue of political will. And when we're looking at the Israel-Gaza situation, Benjamin Netanyahu has no political will to downplay the conflict. It's just obvious. And America, through our taxpayer money, which is like haunts me every single night and every single day, it's just continuing to enable that. So yeah, I think it's just it's a tactic that politicians use and employ. I'm not saying the right doesn't do it, but it's just like everyone.
Someone loves religious cake.
Matt.
J. Cass says tres leches is love, tres leches is life. Tres leches is very good. I'm a big fan. Rachel Atwood says, does Christina offer personalized makeup tutorials? Do you?
No, but I really should start doing like part of my Sunday fun days is actually like getting ready with me, because like I do okay with makeup, I guess.
You could do,
So that
like a talk politics and makeup. I feel like there would be an audience for that.
There's a TikTok live, like, hustle in there for you, for sure.
You know what's funny is
Yeah.
that that's how I started my like YouTube channel doing that, but no one watched me, and I was like, let me do Twitch, and well, here I am now.
Yeah,
I
feel
should
like
start doing that though.
There's so many different makeup streamers and stuff. We had Kenny on the show, and she talks about movies and TV shows that are usually bad, and she does makeup while she talks about it, and it's really entertaining. Because like for me, like
Yeah.
I don't care about makeup, but she's doing it as she's talking. What she's saying is interesting, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
to me, it serves that whole like Subway Surfer / kinetic sand / political
Yeah.
commentary meme that we see on
Yeah.
like TikTok. So it's like.
Yeah, the
Interesting.
first person we have to give credit to Bailey Sarian. I highly recommend her Dark History. She does her murder mystery makeup Mondays, where she puts on makeup while discussing like a true crime story that's heavy on her noggin. And then she does a sit down chat where she discusses like student loans and why college is so expensive, the move bombing. Like she talks about like dark history. So like I highly recommend her channel, because we try to watch them, like she drops a new one like every week or every other week on Thursdays, and it's so good. We learn a lot. Like she went deep into like why college is expensive, who's to blame, and all that. And
What's
like
her name
other
again?
Bailey Sarian.
I can
Dave
vouch for
Sarah.
these streams. I think I've seen one of them because like Christina rated them and it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's
good
on
YouTube
Twitch?
channel. No, YouTube channel.
Oh, YouTube. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
she's
wow,
got
she's
the-
humongous. She has like
Yeah,
7.8
she's
mil.
the reason why you see so many people do the chit chat, like talk about something while putting on makeup thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. She's pretty lefty too, like, which is good.
Nice. Yeah, that certainly helps to make them tolerable.
Yeah.
Anyone tolerable. Somebody else with some tres leches. I'm not
It's
sure
not
if it's
for
for
me.
Dan or David. But we all
I'll read it.
so
Have some tres
JCast
leches cake, bruh.
JCast is buying all of us cake.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing with this, but if you want to buy us some stuff for election day, please. We're gonna be I'm gonna be streaming for. I remember talking shit on Hassan in like 2019 for his marathon streams, and look who was wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming.
Well, at
for
least you're always right about the internet.
Yeah. I used to, not to dox myself or Hassan, but I used to live down the street from Hassan's house. But the way Los Angeles works is that I had better internet than he could possibly get, just because of the way it was wired. And so I would just be like, well, why don't you just get so-and-so fiber company? And he would flip out. It was like the easiest way to trigger him. Because yeah. But yes, now I just live in a different place that also has fiber. Fiber, folks, it's great. Anyways, more super chats.
All right.
And now I want tres leches cake. Damn.
Yeah. Okay,
fam,
so
before you get to
Asa.
the next one, I gotta dip out. I have to go meet my partner for dinner. So I love you all. It was
Take
great
care.
doing the collabo
Bye.
streaming with the other side. Bye.
Take care,
Bye.
Lance.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
We'll
Bye,
see you
Lance.
next Wednesday. All right, Asa with $2. Thank you, Asa. I'm gonna call it Kamala could win from Michael Moore. Great point. I think he has a really good track record with predictions, and he says that she is going to win for sure. So, take from that what you will. Another one from Asa, $2. Thank you, Asa. If Trump wins, P25 would essentially ban GTA 6. It's possible. It's possible. Never underestimate the authoritarian
gaming.
streak of
The woke gaming complex.
It's about ethics and video game journalism, guys.
We need bigger titties on these minor, actually aged characters, apparently, which is it's creeping me out.
It's so bizarre to me. I genuinely don't understand why they have to be attracted to the characters. to
Play
the
The
game.
Sims. Seriously, you can literally make them however you want. You can make them with big titties and big ass. I don't care. Like seriously, you could even do a Wicked Whims mod where your whole Sims household of like men and women can have a gangbang. Like I'm not even kidding.
Oh my god,
you can do that
in The Sims now.
If you download the right mods, you can.
Oh,
It might
see,
slow
this
down the
is why we
game a
all need
little
to go
bit,
back to
but
church.
I'm once again asking these gamers to just like go outside and talk to people, man. It's not that hard. I
yeah.
swear. I promise.
I wish I had
Yeah.
real problems though, like these dudes have.
Yeah, right. You don't know what it's like to just have a game with the promise of no censorship, and then they censor some cleavage with a shirt that was not supposed to be there.
I did everything right and they censored me.
Asa, again, thank you, Asa, with $5. Mind y'all, in the U.S., Palestine isn't the biggest issue for Americans. Kamala is known to have a better plan for the economy than Trump by a mile. I think that's a good point as well. As much as we hate to admit it, I do think that Americans just aren't plugged in to foreign policy as much. I think young people are, but average Americans don't really know. And that makes me sad. I wish that they actually cared about where their tax dollars are going, but that's just not the reality. So yeah, another reason to think that with the economy, another reason to think that, maybe people will vote for her, because I think she's done better at gaining trust on the economy, which for those who don't know is very difficult for Democrats to do, because Republicans always have an advantage on the economy. Because
they always take
we're
the credit that the
brainwashed.
Democrats do.
Right, and to that point,
Right.
because I've talked about this with like Jessica Burbank a little bit as well. Both of us like econ brains. Like, yes, the topic, like even the Wall Street Journal has had to go tail between their legs to be like, yeah, tariffs would be fucking terrible for the economy. I don't know why Donald Trump keeps saying it. It really makes it hard for us to continue endorsing him when he keeps saying that like tariffs are going to fix the economy because it's fucking stupid, right? Like it's just obviously. But I also, I don't think the mainstream Democrat or the mainstream Republican even is like, even the most like finance pilled Republican is voting based off of the Wall Street Journal editorial board right now. Like we have a whole kerfuffle with the, rich benefactors of the Los Angeles Times out here preventing the LA Times from actually endorsing a candidate from their editorial board. And, like that's a whole thing here. But also, let's be real, I don't think a lot of people are making their decisions based off of these, endorsements from these papers. And so, yeah, you can definitely objectively say that Kamala Harris's plans by, not proposing tariffs like just by the definition of like not proposing the bonkers, dumbass, crazy things that Donald Trump is proposing for the economy is better than the economy for sure, right? But I think the people who are going to vote for Donald Trump, they'll say the economy. I've said this before on the show, on Power Report, like the people who are asking, I like Kamala Harris, but I just want to hear more about policy. These are people who are on the fence about the 2024 election. And at the time I was talking, September 2024. They don't give a shit about policy. They want to feel like they want to feel, it's vibes. They want to feel like they care about policy. They want to feel like they're smart and informed. In reality, they just want to be like, hey, you're black, make me not like, make you're a woman, make me feel a little bit less icky about that, please.
Red summer, please.
Yeah, no, 1000%. Okay, Chris Corcoran with $5. Thank you, Chris. Have you seen guys like Charlie Kirk warn about an upcoming deepfake Trump video? Maybe we'll get something real, a Trump N-word video, perhaps.
No, it's the groping video where that's what he was saying. I'm like, but again, the October surprise was nothing. You know why? Because nothing's going to convince his followers to abandon him. Nothing. Like no matter how many stuff gets leaked.
I agree.
No one cares.
As much as I would like to think that Americans would be turned off by Trump saying a slur, I think that most of them might be even more mobilized. That's how little faith I have in this country.
Yeah, when it comes to get out the vote, Trump dropping the hard R might actually be more helpful than anything Elon Musk is doing.
But wait. But he's doing this. Woo!
The idiot jumping, yes.
Trying to make an X for what is this obsession with that letter? I don't get it. Like we already have X videos. I enjoy it from time to time, Elon. Like, what are you talking about?
Because he mixes his ex-wives.
True.
Shout out to an amazing panel.
Thank you, Sachi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sachi. Shout out to Sachi, who is the producer for Power Report, who helped get some of the clips going for us. So yeah, thank you.
Very
and
cool.
I owe you $2.
Shout out to Sachi. Okay, I exist with $5. Thank you so much. Voted early. Got a pro-Palestine teachers union member for city council running here and a housing first mayoral candidate. Hell yeah, that's a good get. Good on you. Glad you voted early for that too. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote early because I want to start a stupid o'clock with Dan.
Okay, I don't know who this is for, but super Platinum Man, $2. Thoughts on?
This is for me. Thoughts on Big Meech being released from prison.
I didn't know he went to prison.
Idea what you're talking about. I don't even know who
Big
Meech
Meech
is.
thicker than a Snicker. We're talking 2009 Big Meech. That's the guy.
No,
I don't know, man.
Matt, you're slowly becoming Sam.
Big Meech was a drug dealer in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
And he got like 30 years or something like that. And he just got out.
Oh God, I'm such a millennial brain where I'm thinking of the song, like the one hit wonder. Amazing. Well, if he's a drug dealer and he's released from prison, I think 30 years, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time for that. So
free Fetty Wap. Similarly,
Yeah.
millennials love him. He's caught up with the feds. Like all he wanted was to, ball out with his trap queen, and he did everything right, and they indicted him.
Yeah, free Fetty. I think that we need to stop. Okay, just stop. There's more people you could be locking up besides them. Okay, Prairie Fire with a sticker for somebody. I don't know who, but thank you for the sticker. We have quite a bit, so we have quite a bit. So maybe I'll just go through and read them, and just not differentiate who they're for, because there's quite a bit. Okay, I'm just gonna go through. Parker with $5. Thank you so much. Remember, like a week before Biden dropped out, when you and Lance did a vid with Ole where she said, "I'll cash app you $500 if Kamala gets elected." LOL. Oh, I do remember that.
Oh boy.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I love
That's funny.
I love her pop culture channel so much. Like when her and I are on the same level, like when it comes to House of the Dragon. Like when I'm watching, I'm like, yes, exactly. You're on point, girl. Like it's so funny.
Yeah, she like her commentary about the show is better than the show itself, honestly.
Oh my
So
god, yeah.
funny.
More leftist brand synergy. I'd be remiss to not say that Ole has an interview with Emma Vigeland coming out soon on her channel, so definitely check that out. That's going to be awesome. From what I hear, Emma was excitedly texting me about it after it happened, so I'm like, okay, it's probably going to be good. So yeah,
I want to be on Ole and
I
Friends
might know
so
something about that.
bad.
I may have been on the panel as well.
Mm.
And it might have been pretty good. So yeah. Okay, where am I? Okay, here we go. Pandora Bryn with $4.99. Thank you so much. I realized Ethan was bad faith when he viciously went after Vosh and lied about him, so I wasn't surprised when he did the same thing to Hassan. Thank you for the super chat. Tara with $5. Why is it that family says that it is okay for us to disagree on who we vote for without coming to grips with how Trump took away my rights as a human? Tara, that's a good point. And it's because they don't think about the impact that the politician they're supporting has on our lives, because it doesn't affect them, even though we're family. So it's
there's a lot of people who view politics like sports, and a lot of people who view politics as like a life or death situation for themselves or others or people they care about, and we all get one vote. So that's how it is.
Wait, we do?
Yeah. Maybe you only get one vote, Dan. According to Elon Musk.
Kowalski.
So many people.
Kowalski, the $10 super chat. After my call with you last night, I developed a plan. By 2032, I will have my vengeance, and by 2042, there will be a social democracy across the republic, or there will be a John Brown moment. What?
Whoa!
Let's go. Based.
Yeah.
They mean John Brown the rapper.
I mean H. John Brownjamin.
Dragon in the West with $5. I absolutely agree. Billionaires should not exist. No representation without taxation. You want a political voice? Pay your fair share. Yeah. Here. Tunbosin with $10. I think that's for Matt, but I'll go ahead and read it.
Oh, it's for me. NYC folks, vote yes on Proposal 1. It helps enshrine abortion rights to New York State Constitution. Forget the rest. It's a power grab by bum-ass Adams. For more info, remember 8888 Eric Adams. Wait, what?
I don't like all them
that
eights
last
next to
part.
each other.
I know, it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, Tunbosin. I won't lie. I exist. $5. Thank you so much. The Arkansas Supreme Court shot down the abortion ballot measure, and they straight up said they'd ignore the medical marijuana measure votes. That's fucked up. Yeah, not surprising because it's Arkansas, but still very, very messed up. They don't even know how to spell their own name. Like they spell it like Arkansas, and then tell us to call them
I pronounce it as
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Right. We're supposed to go along with it. They just think they can make the rules. Fuck you, Arkansas.
Like
Except for the
Maryland.
nice people.
No, it's Maryland.
Yeah. Okay. Andrelyn de Bashore, $20. Trying for weeks, and thank you so much. I'm not sure who this is for, but very generous. Trying for weeks to send super chats, but YouTube wouldn't show the pay button. So mad this week. Found I had text zoomed to where the button was pushed off the frame. Oops. Still won't let me pay anyone but Matt, though. Sorry, others. Hey, it's no biggie whatsoever. You are not
Oh, that was for me.
obligated.
Thank you.
But
Thank
that's
you,
very nice of you.
Bagashagi.
And then you mispronounced their name. So disrespectful.
How is it said again? I can never remember.
Bashore.
Bashore, right. I like how
I
it
believe
looks,
that's the
and
correct.
I like saying Bagashagi.
Okay. Tumbosin with $5. Thank you, Tumbosin. Yes, it was all a last-minute push by bum-ass Adams. Remember, fuck Eric Adams. Yes.
I'm
Wow,
gonna keep
I
using
love this
bum-ass
Tumbosin.
Adams.
I love this version of
He's on fire.
going balls to balls on Eric Adams.
Jacqueline Leitch, thank you for the
go ahead.
$6.99. Comment, please, on the effects as you see it of Biden offering an apology to USA First Nations for 150 years of residential schools planned for soon.
Should have happened sooner.
I mean, that's cool.
So,
It's better
are
than
you-
not doing it.
Right. So he's going to make this apology? It says planned for
Should have
soon.
happened a lot sooner, but
I apologize for not being more well read on this, but this is news to me. It seems like,
Right, same.
But like Biden has, he had, and there's a little bit of a kerfuffle around this, but at the White House, he had a lot of trans folks, there ceremonially. And, Biden hasn't been actively hostile as an administration towards the trans community. Has he been helpful during an onslaught that's been arguably internally sort of cleansing attempt towards making it harder for trans people to exist, knowing that a lack of trans affirming care leads to an increase in self-harm with people in the trans community who are experiencing gender dysphoria or anything like that. I think Biden has been a good bystander. He's been willing to do the ceremonial stuff, and my initial read, just seeing off this comment, is this seems like another one of those ceremonial things. I would love to see kind of what Christina was saying. Real easy to do this in the twilight of your administration when you're a lame duck. And there's a lot more that could be tangible to that I think could be done for the descendants of Indigenous, Native American, First Nations folks around the country. Just go to any reservation that their main economy is a casino or a weed dispensary and talk to some of the people there, and you'll be like, okay, it's real nice that you're offering the apology. What about the reparations?
Also, can he apologize for Gaza or nah? Maybe another 350 plus years or so, we'll get that apology.
Right.
From someone.
We'll start doing land acknowledgements for Gaza in 400 years.
Yeah. Sad but true. Okay, Justin Welsh with $5. Thank you, Justin. Mike, how are you voting on Measure 118? I've seen some progressive groups like Working Families Party pull their endorsement. So I don't know what the wording is and whether or not voting yes or no, I don't know what effect that has, because sometimes these ballot initiatives are worded weirdly, but I will be not supporting the measure. So this is the universal basic income one, I believe, which sounds amazing at face value. But the more I learn about it, the more it seems like a catch-22. So basically, it is going to be funded by our general fund, which means we're pulling from the pot that funds healthcare and education, and we're giving everyone a tax rebate. And so we're going to undermine public services, and it just seems like a really bad way to implement it. And I feel like this could be used as an excuse for austerity in the future, because if we're underfunded and our general fund is depleted because of this, then, does that mean social services will go away? The people who are supporting this say, no, that's not the case, and it's baked into the amendment that can't happen. but there's so much about it that just seems wrong. And I think that if we're gonna do UBI, I would support it, but it needs to be done correctly. And this just feels like almost cynical in a way. Like it feels like they want to put this up to a vote so they can say, see, look, even Oregon, who's progressive, voted against the UBI, but it's not really, it doesn't really feel like a UBI. It feels like it's a tax rebate for everybody. And I think that it would be more beneficial to the whole state if we did not underfund our public services and schools. I think that would be catastrophic if we did that. So I'm probably going to vote no on this. I'll do more research, but I'm leaning heavily against it because I do not like the implications of it. They need to come back with a better way to fund it, and then I'd support it, because I love the idea of putting money in people's pockets. I think it'd be cool to have something like that, but this just seems awful. It seems like a way to maybe, like, once it's depleted, then figure out a way to do state taxes. For those who don't know, we don't have like a state sales tax in Oregon. So we don't have to worry about that shit. And so maybe this is a way to sneak that in. I genuinely don't know, but it seems so cynical. I'm heavily leaning against it, but I still need to read more. Okay. Miss Peppermint with $20. I believe this is for Binder.
Hold on. It's
okay. Well, I will read it. The NYC ballot measures on the back of the ballot are apparently all proposed by the Adams administration. Perhaps the Working Families Party has the right idea, but I would be wary. Yeah, so your instinct was right about this, Matt, for sure. T-King with $2. Monthly reminder.
That is for me. A monthly reminder to get Owen Morgan on Leftist Mafia. Yes, we'll do.
Okay, and then we have Chris Corcoran with $10. Thank you so much. I saw a new vid of Cori Bush on how Kamala was one of the few people to be privately welcoming to her after she called for a ceasefire. She said she sees an opening and Trump would be worse on Gaza. Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody can acknowledge, if they're being honest, that with Donald Trump, he's going to be worse on Gaza and there will be no openings for an arms embargo. With Kamala Harris, a lot of us are very skeptical and cynical for good reason, but at least there's a possibility. I don't know how large of a chance that is. Maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 0.5%, but that's more than 0%. So I think that even though, we don't know either way, and we're kind of having to read between the tea leaves based on every little thing that she says and what others around her say, I think that just the mere possibility of her not being as bad is important. Like, we're splitting hairs here, but I think it's important to split those hairs, because even though these are small differences in the grand scheme of things, there's differences that would mean life or death for certain people. I mean, if she delays some shipments, that's better than nothing. And I know that sucks, but sorry, go ahead, Dan.
No, sorry to almost cut you off, but like, you're making a great point. I just want to buttress that by saying there's no one like the Adelson family who has been bankrolling Kamala Harris for multiple presidential cycles and presidential runs the same way that Donald Trump has. There's no Golan Heights delivery. There's no give me this tit and I'll give you this tat. Then there's nothing on there. AIPAC stuff notwithstanding, yes, Kamala Harris has to play the game in the Democratic Party. That's how it goes. The thing you trade off for that is getting to have at least 40% of the country on your side by running on the Democratic ticket. But yeah, I see from Donald Trump what I've seen from Jared Kushner, even during pre-2020, which was, Gaza would make really nice beachfront real estate property. And that's what I see Donald Trump doing. And what I see Kamala Harris doing is, I don't see her going, let's let the Courtyard Marriott start to build some properties in Con Yunis. I don't see that from Kamala Harris, even though these are Democrats, so I'm tempering my expectations.
Well, I think that the difference is Iran. When October 7th happened, I want to say it was the next week, Anthony Blinken was saying Iran didn't have anything to do with this. And I don't even believe that, but I think that no matter what, the Trump administration is saying, Iran's behind it and we need to bomb them or invade or whatever. I think in a Trump presidency, like Israel goes like balls to the wall on Iran, and like probably we're having American bombs falling in Iran like soon. I mean, if not, like I wouldn't even like. I think if Trump gets elected, Putin nukes Ukraine with some tactical nuke or whatever, and for sure Israel is like bombing the hell out of Iran, and probably America is too, bombing Iran.
Maybe not a nuke, but I can see like a Moab, like a vacuum bomb, like sort of thing.
They have this whatever tactical nuke or whatever. I think that's on the table right away if Trump gets elected. Like, and for sure, obviously Netanyahu is keeping this war going partly because he wants Trump to get elected again, and I don't think it's to just keep on, destroying Gaza. I think it's for Iran.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, Bam, I mean, Kamala's national security advisor is Phil Gordon. He is the individual who negotiated the JCPOA under Obama. And this is somebody who has acknowledged privately that Biden's policy has been a disaster as it relates, as it relates to Israel. So having him be in the ear of the president is better than whoever the fuck Donald Trump is going to choose to be in his ear. Because it's going to be some psychotic, Islamophobe, anti-Arab dipshit who is...
It's going to be Netanyahu. It's going to be Netanyahu in the ear.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, that'll probably be the case for Kamala too, but at least she has Phil Gordon, who is going to... I don't think that Phil Gordon wants war with Iran, and I think that he wants... I think he genuinely wants this to end in Gaza and Lebanon. Whether or not he'll have enough sway to convince her is a different story, but at least she has someone like that in her ear. So, like, again, like, it feels shitty that we're splitting hairs and we're trying to figure out, like, who's going to best manage the genocide, because that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. But I mean, these are the options that are going to win. That's the two choices. And, gun to my head, I would rather have Kamala in charge as things continue to get worse than Donald Trump. Because there's a reason why I think Netanyahu wants Trump to win, and that scares me.
Yeah.
Why Putin wants Trump to win. Why like every single autocratic, like theocratic dictator the world over is like, yeah, if you ask me, like, yeah, Trump, of course. Yeah. Because like much the same way strategically, like, an American president's an American president. An American president's always going to be like, for a quote unquote foreign adversary, even with Trump, a little bit of a curveball situation. But as a leftist, I can justify people who are voting for Kamala Harris, just as I can justify people who aren't voting for Kamala Harris. But I can justify that vote as like, okay, I think Ole has like expressed this really well. I'm voting for who I'm going to be adversarial towards, and the Democrats are always a better adversary for me and what I want to accomplish versus the Republicans, who are, stronger adversaries in the sense that like they are more likely to oppress and repress and suppress anything that we are fighting for on the left and make it a harder battle. Whereas with Kamala Harris, I'm not saying that oppression, suppression, repression is not going to happen, but it's going to be much easier to deal with.
That's so important. And people also need to realize that Biden is uniquely bad here. Like, our military industrial complex is basically semi-autonomous at this point, and the president just steers whatever direction it goes in. But there's the report that the Pentagon was at odds with the White House when they were okay with Netanyahu going into Lebanon. For the president to defy the Pentagon, that's pretty big. That's pretty huge. And I don't think any other standard Democrat would allow that to happen. Even the most corporate shit Democrat, milquetoast Democrat in the world. So Biden is an ideologically committed Zionist, whereas I think that Kamala Harris is just, she took money from AIPAC and she's towing the line that she thinks she needs to toe to win. But she's not like dedicated like Biden is. So I don't think you're naive to expect Kamala to be better. I think it's reasonable to expect her to be better. How much better? I don't know, but better than Trump. Yeah, I think that she would be better than Trump. I feel like that's obvious, and for people to deny that is a little bit disingenuous. Even though she's not where she needs to be Obviously, none of us are happy with her stance. But I mean, again, we've got two choices. It's Duverger's law. You're not going to vote for a third party that can win. Unfortunately, we have to change the system in order to get that to happen. So it's going to be Kamala or Trump. And given that choice, I hope it's Kamala.
Yeah, I hate when people like attack Ole for like that stance. I'm like, I'm like, she's always had this sort of stance though. Like it makes sense to her. But then like same with people who are trans that want to vote for Kamala, there's some leftists like, well, did you hear this one story about this transgender prisoner who didn't receive care under her? I'm like, guys, come on. Like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want
I
us
think
to
people
do?
always work backwards from their conclusion to justify whatever they're going to do. And I get it. Like, as leftists, we're going to be perpetually disappointed in the Democratic Party. That's just a fact of life. We are never going to be happy. They're never going to be where we want. They're not going to be socialists. The closest we got was Bernie Sanders. And that's it. Don't know if we're going to have another opportunity. So you work with what you've got. And I don't think that Trump is going to help us advance our movement. However much we can advance it, it's going to be counterproductive. So I think it's just unwise for people to just think, oh, well, fuck it. I'm not satisfied with Kamala. Let Trump win. I think that's really reckless, even though I understand the desire to want to punish Kamala. But you can't punish Kamala and Democrats for being bad without punishing yourself. And without punishing the people of Gaza and Lebanon even more. It's like we all have a gun to our heads, and we're all fucked if that trigger gets pulled.
Yep.
Right. Guys, I have to run. It's getting real late over here on the West Coast of America.
On the West Coast?
But thank you for having me. Hopefully I can come back again. It was lovely.
It was amazing. Are you going to be here on election night?
Yeah, it was great having you.
I will be around on election night crying.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you then. Take care,
I'll be
Bam.
drinking. Bye, Bam.
Take care.
And
I don't know if I can drink on election night.
I'm not drinking. I might have a little bit of weed, but like I'm not doing that on election night anymore. I smoked too much on the 2016 election night, and that was like a bad night for me.
I did nothing. I'm entitled to one election fun drinking, whatever.
You are.
I got super drunk at the birthday party that
Matt is going to get like a 7-Up drunk, or like Mountain Dew drunk or something.
Red Bull.
A sugar high.
Oh god, Red Bull, you're insane. You at least got to do the sugar freeze, man. They taste better.
Oh no, hell no. No. What do you if you're drinking soda or an energy drink, you do the caffeine, you do the sugar. If you don't, then what's the point? Have some fucking water.
I respect that. I respect that completely. I just think that sugar-free Red Bull tastes better than sugar-filled Red Bull. So that's just a preference.
Never. I mean, I drink soda every day, and I drink Red Bull once or twice a week. I need it. I need to be awake.
Well, only one of us is a star reporter, so I guess I should be following your method.
And I usually drink the Red Bull. Actually, I play in a soccer league, and I usually drink Red Bull right before playing, so I can. I'm extra spicy on the field.
I just want to meet your cardiologist, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my AirPods just disconnected. 1 second. That was weird. I'm back. Hello?
Hi.
You here?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, my AirPod disconnected. What were you gonna say? What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying I want to meet your cardiologist.
Oh, I'm sure they'd like to meet me too.
That's
you know what? I would think that an American has a cardiologist.
Yeah. I was thinking Matt was gonna say that too. I was like, wait a minute, he probably doesn't have one.
Yeah.
You should see mine. Like I used to drink like a freaking like Bang energy drink every day and take Wellbutrin. Like too much.
Damn.
But they also say don't take your second Wellbutrin when you're drinking because it'll lead to seizures. So I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. You don't want to mix some of those SSRIs with alcohol. Let me see where we're at. Okay. So we are here, I believe. This is from Atheist John Mathers. $5 super chat. I saw the mountain goat. The goat saw me. I began running. My thick skull met horn. I emerged victorious. Airless solid skull met goat horn, as in myth. Thank you very much.
It's like a haiku.
I believe so.
Seether F with a super chat. What is Harris's electoral path if she loses Michigan?
Prayer.
Well, if she wins if she wins Pennsylvania, which is looking likely, if
And
she
North
wins
Carolina.
North Carolina, that's looking possible. If she holds Arizona and Nevada, which I think she will, then she can actually, and then obviously the normal regular blue states. I think, and Georgia. I don't know if she would need Georgia in this scenario if she wins North Carolina, but I think she could actually lose both Michigan and Wisconsin if she grabs all those other states and win.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, it really comes down to 3 swing states at who wins. Like if you live in a solid blue or red state,
Oh yeah.
Well, I think this election might the map might look a little unconventional based on previous elections. It's possible, just like how 2016 was a weird map because Trump did well in the Rust Belt. I think it's possible that she can lose Michigan and Wisconsin, which is actually looking more likely to me than her losing Pennsylvania or like Arizona or Nevada. But she can and still win.
Celeste with $4.99. Thank you, Celeste. Bailey S makes me sick. Talking about people's pain while applying makeup. She did not invent chatty, get ready with me content.
well, she did mainstream it. Like, there's other, but she's not the only true crime person who does the whole chit chat get ready with me though. But I understand. But I still recommend her Dark History podcast because it's good to know the truth about things like how Reagan ruined everything and all that good stuff too.
Hassan didn't invent political commentary. Give Tom Hartman his flowers. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, what are we?
Yeah, different
Yeah,
strokes
yeah.
for different folks, right? Some
Yeah.
things will click with you, some things you won't like.
There's this
Just
one
depends.
girl named Jamie French who used to do bad movies and makeup, like really bad ones, like Camp Rock, like Disney movies and stuff like that. She did one about Mariah Carey's movie Glitter and Britney Spears' Crossroads. And I'm like, oh my God, it was so funny though. Her editing was really good in those videos too.
Okay. November DeMarc, thank you for the $5. Appreciate that. Y'all should watch Owen Morgan's podcast Sunday evenings. He gets into Christian nationalism in the United States. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out.
Does
The name
Owen
sounds
Morgan
familiar.
have burner accounts that comment about how we should watch Owen Morgan and have him on the show because he's the
Right.
second person just in the
I think I've seen 3.
Yeah.
I'm joking, obviously.
Kowalski, thank you for the $9.99. Tell Matt to open his DMs. Last Thursday, Matt, open your DMs. Last Thursday, there was some excitement on the farm. My family will fight climate change weather to get you your chicken tenders. We needed an AG segment or an agriculture segment soon. We appreciate your service, Kowalski. Omega Shenron Dragon with $5. Thank you so much. Mike, please tell me you are at Whole Cake Island. I am at Whole Cake Island. Speaking of sweet, shout out to Christina. She's one of the sweetest people ever. And Dan and Bam are A1. Yes. We
Appreciate
love
you,
them.
Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm towards the end of Whole Cake Island. By the way, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about an arc in One Piece. Very, very long arc. It's towards the end. I think it's probably going to be over relatively soon. It's kind of starting to drag out, but the end is in sight. Tanya Oberkaiser with $10. I don't see a message, but thank you so much. Very generous. Asa with $5. Thank you so much. One of Kamala's top advisors was an architect for the Iran deal. Yeah, Phil Gordon. Absolutely. That's what does give me a little bit of hope. Another one from Ace, and this is the last one, actually, $5. Y'all want to know what race is tighter than Trump v. Harris? The New Hampshire governor's race. It's fucked. Oh, I haven't been following that. I'll have to look into that. Well, that's all, folks. Do we have any parting words or any thoughts or anything?
Yeah, this is usually the part of Power Report where I go on a 45-minute long rant for. No, just kidding. That's all, folks. We're done.
Yeah.
Usually at this point, Christina and Bam are just like going like, "We will just quit if you don't end the stream." So, yeah, full. Not to blast anyone, but Leftist, Mafia, and Power Report tend to stream around similar times, but there's often times where we're not streaming, or like we will post content that's separately. So there's no reason to compete. Left is best. I love it when there's a whole like collaborative thing, and like we just announced here, Leftist Power Mafia report on election day. A very long stream. A lot of people are going to be there. A lot of surprises. It's going to be great. So yeah, just continue following folks where you are. I'm youtube.com/danfamiernet. Christina is at twitch.tv/cosmopolitics. Bam does not want to be found. So
yeah,
I respect that so much.
God bless him. Honestly, he had a Twitter account. You can find it if you really want to, but generally he prefers not to be found. And bless his heart, he made the right choice.
Smart
but
man.
No. So thank you for having us in your humble abode. I know I said that I was your boss, but I don't see any redundancies here anymore. And I think I'm just going to continue to let you operate as your own company. You know,
Really?
until the hedge fund
I
managers
appreciate
come.
that.
Yeah. Until the hedge fund
Okay.
managers come, then we're gonna have to do this. You know.
I
You know how it
appreciate
goes.
that. People who
I
didn't start at the beginning are like, what the hell are you talking about? But you have to go back.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, okay, well we'll just explain it. Power Report bought out the Leftist Mafia, and so they are majority
money that we
shareholder.
Yes.
And they got rid of David Dole, Rebecca Azor, and
I wouldn't say
they
got
kept-
rid of. I would just say they've been reprioritized within the conglomerate. They're going to have new exciting roles that we'll be talking about soon.
Yeah, so some of us were kept on, others were replaced. So that's Dan's decision. If you don't like it, take it up with him. His email is danfromtheinternet@gmail.com. I'm just kidding. I don't know what his email is. Oh, that's not your email. Oh, shit.
Anyways.
I did not mean to just dox you. That's...
You're good. I don't use that inbox anymore, so you're good.
Oh, shit.
I mean, that's not my email address, so we're all good.
Okay.
No.
That's good.
I've often said that my email address, which is public, dan@syndicate23.co, is where you can email all of your anger to me. So yeah, you're all good.
Okay. I was not close then, if that's true.
Yeah, no.
Oh, Matt just hit 69
don't try
subs.
Oh,
Nice.
nice number to hit. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys.
Nice.
I actually really gotta take a piss. So
Me too. Yeah.
Matt, you're a trooper.
I
You're
as
a
well.
trooper. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this
Well,
up.
we'll see
Thank you all
all
for watching.
Next week. Yes. Take
no,
care,
not
everyone.
next week. Next week is not the election week. Next
Thank
week
God.
is
Wednesday.
Halloween.
But
yes.
They'll be on next
Next
week.
We'll be on
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Leftist
We'll be
Mafia.
on Wednesday next week,
Yeah.
and then we'll
Next
see
Wednesday,
the-
Leftist
the-
Mafia. Next
And then
Thursday,
Tuesday.
Power Report, and then
And
Election
Tuesday.
Day combined.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.